All right, guys, welcome back to the ASL. This is a highly anticipated matchup. This is the one I was looking most forward to this season, Xun. Snow versus Effort is going to be an insane match. This is kind of historic, Xun, because Snow has been blocked by Sulky for so long, and then we've got Effort, who showed up back into the scene after a long hiatus, after injuring his wrist and recuperating for years. He shows back up and he takes out the 4-time champion in the round of 16. He takes out Sulky and he opens the way for Snow to get his first title. Or does he? He's standing in the way now. Effort is here in the round of 8 to possibly shut down Snow once again.
Yeah, he's definitely a strong contender of shutting Snow out from this entire tournament. If somehow Snow can get through the hurdle of Effort, he's got a pretty clear path to the finals, I would say. I really heavily would favor Snow over Barracks in that semi-final set. And historically, he's been kind of a bully of Barracks a lot in the past. I think that Barracks would hold his own a lot better than times past, but still would get the better of him in the end. But if somehow Effort goes through here today, then I don't know what's going to happen. So I'll be rooting for Effort despite being happy if either of these guys win. He's a very strong Zerg contender. He's got a couple of stars on his chest from a long, long time ago. I believe the last event he won was against Flash in the ASL Season 6, if I'm not mistaken. So this guy has been around a lot in the past, but kind of AWOL for a while due to wrist injuries and what have you. Now he's got those wrists screwed on tight, and he's looking to reestablish himself.
Yeah, he's playing at a extremely high level, higher than I would have expected, honestly, after coming back from such a long hiatus. He is playing just next level. Everything we've seen from him so far has been amazing. Kind of like Larva in that regard. Like, he just, I don't know what these guys' training regimen is like, but they were off on their own practicing, and now they're kind of dominating the scene. Soma as well. I mean, so many players just coming out of nowhere and reappearing on the scene all of a sudden. Now we've got 3 of them in the round of 8. Effort versus Snow. This is going to be one for the ages.
Absolutely, Said. I've been looking forward to this match for a long time. Had a little bit of difficulty sleeping last night. I was that excited to get stuck into it. I don't necessarily think this is going to go to match 7. I think this is probably going to finish 4-2. But I don't know who's going to take it. Snow, historically has had issues with his versus Zerg matchup, but has improved dramatically over the last year or so, and has such good control of his shuttles and reavers. That might come into play here, even against Zerg, especially on maps like Screaming Sea, which will be coming up first.
Yeah, it's incredible that we're going to have Screaming Sea first, Shun. That's such a treat for us here as viewers, getting to see that wild map right off the bat. Going to set the tempo there. Snow picking that map, if I'm not mistaken, and he's going to have something special planned for sure.
Oh, you better believe. We did see, I think it was Snow actually, trying to do something like a Reaver play on that map. It wasn't in ASL, it was in KCM or something. And I think he was against Queen, and he just lost his Shuttle and Reaver to some Hydralisks at the natural third and kind of lost the game eventually. I'm hoping he'll put a much more stronger, dominant performance out than that. I'm sure he's had a lot of time to practice on this map now. A lot of these guys, now they're in the round of 8, they have so many pros helping them because all the other pros have been knocked out. So there's like a line out the door for people to help them prepare for these games now.
Not that they need it, man. These guys are the best of the best. These guys, man, this could actually be a finals, honestly. This, as well as our games tomorrow, Soma versus Best. That could be another finals, honestly. We are truly blessed here, Xun, for having so many great matchups in the round of 8.
Honestly, yeah, it's kind of crazy how good this bit. I mean, we thought in the last season of ASL that it was one of the best of all time, and this one is shaping up to be even more crazy. I don't even know what to think anymore. I just know that this is some of the best StarCraft, and especially the most interesting StarCraft that we have seen in a very long time, Sam.
Occasionally, we get these situations where the early parts of the ASL are amazing, and then as we get deeper in the tournament, you know, things start to like cool off. Sometimes
Right.
it's kind of a cold start, and then we end up really heating up at the end, closer towards the finals. But it's been nonstop for both of these past 2 seasons. It's just been heated up and out of control. So many great players here, and two of the best on stage right now.
Absolutely. And Snow, he's going to be hungry for it this season. Back in the day from ASL Season 5 and ASL Season 8, he got the silver stars and couldn't quite get that golden one to start slapping on his chest. And he's come so close in recent times as well, always breaking in deep to the tournament at around about the round of 8, like we are now, but always kind of just barely falling short. Maybe looking to get through to the semifinals at least here and maybe go all the way now that Sulky's out. He's certainly capable of it. I'm imagining he's still just as hungry as he was back then.
Yeah, but however hungry effort is, Snow has to be more so. He has been so close to that ASL title over and over and over again. He's had tons of second place finishes, and he's been knocked out in the round of 4, basically by solely by Solky, right? Solky's been blocking him
Yes.
and blocking him again and again, and basically against everybody else, he hasn't been stopped. Well, Solky seemed to be the only guy who had his number, and now he's out of the tournament. Does that mean that Snow is going to win? It's not a sure thing, man. Still so many great players here, and effort is going to be standing in his way.
Yeah, this will be the first real series that these two have played at the ASL. They've kind of, hit each other in the best of one kind of framing of things, and then like a few years ago, but they're never in a real series in the ASL. Literally, just only in those group stages, best of ones. They've kind of gone back and forth in their records a little bit. Hard to really know where these two stand, honestly, and I think effort's kind of been away from the action for so long that a lot of people are really surprised to see him play this well recently. And it's kind of hard to dial in and know exactly where these two guys are at, especially against one another. But my money is going to be on effort for this series.
I think that Snow, I mean, hopefully he's not going to be overcome by the moment. Now that Solky is out of the way, he's just got to keep himself composed and try to play his absolute best. I don't want to see him go too crazy with wild strategies. Just play his heart out with his best possible play. Like, even on Screaming Sea, I don't want him to do anything like too wild, because I really do feel like effort is so good at responding to these crazy situations and creating these chaotic spots where he's able to dominate. Snow, I think he should have this. I'm definitely putting my money on Snow here, but
Okay.
anything can happen.
I mean, honestly, I kind of like that we're rooting for different players here, saying it'll make it harder for people in the comments to criticize our biased cast. Just a bit of a news flash for you guys. Every human on the planet is biased. It's just that we don't lie to you, and we'll definitely be wearing our hearts on our sleeves and tell you how we feel about each of these players. Seems like Saiyan's going to be rooting for Snow and expecting him to win. I'm definitely behind effort. Back in the past, effort had a 60% plus win rate in all 3 matchups, known as the Alien Zerg. He's just so good at what he does. He's been away from the scene for a long time, but I have every confidence in his ability to go the distance.
Yeah, effort. Such an intelligent player. The Alien Zerg definitely has a head on his shoulders, a very good head on his shoulders, and seems to be able to find his way out of these kind of chaotic situations, get the job done with the correct build against the correct player in the best situation. We saw that versus Solky, pulling out that wacky build where he put his proxy hatchery at the center left. Just the perfect build for the right situation to take on the right player. Can he find the antidote here for Snow today? We're going to be starting off on Screaming Sea and ending on Radion here. Always interesting to me to see who picks which map, and it's super cool
Right.
that Snow decided to open on Screaming Sea here today.
It's certainly going to keep the series especially spicy. It really does make me laugh how it's the only map that doesn't have an English translation. There's literally 4 ways you can translate the name of that Korean text there. And it seems like even the Koreans undecided on what that translation should be. We're just going to call it Screaming Sea, though.
Yeah, I like that alliteration, Screaming Sea. It just rolls off the tongue. There's a lot of different translations that are kicking around, but that's what we're going to go with, guys. So let's get into this match, dude. I can't wait. I want to see what happens on Screaming Sea, man. This is going to be insane. This is going to be wild.
Oh yeah, man. I think this is going to be one of the best series of the entire tournament. Even if it does somehow go like 4-1 or 4-2, I think 4-2 is more likely here. I don't necessarily think this is going to go the entire distance and give us a game 7. But either way, I think both of these guys are capable of taking this, and it's going to come down to their nerves, their composure, and what strategies they've got cooked up. I think both of them have a very strong fighting chance at eliminating each other. This is not going to be a one-sided affair, I do not think.
Yeah, I would be shocked if we go anything less than 7 games in this series. Personally, I think this is going to go the full distance, and it's going to be very hotly contested. I could, of course, be wrong, but that's just my sense here before these games start. I want to mention that, Snow had a hard time with Solkey because he was such a tricky Zerg player. Effort has proven to be even more tricky, though. I'm hoping that Snow can, with all his experience in games versus Solkey, find a way to scout what's going on and figure out what Effort's up to.
There's a statistic on the screen now saying that Snow's got a very poor record against Zerg in these situations at the ASL, but he's pointing to his chest at that ASL logo, showing you that there's no star above that S yet, and he's looking to rectify that. He's come a long way and improved his Protoss versus Zerg so much in the last year or two, like we were saying. Effort, he's straightening out his jacket, making sure that all the way in the back you can see that he's got 2 gold stars and looking to get a 3rd this time around.
Yeah, that record for Snow is a little bit misleading. Again, most of those games are versus Solkey. He's been hitting best of 7s versus Solkey practically every season for the past 3-4 seasons and losing each of those. So it's been it's been him growing though the entire time, right? He started out
absolutely,
losing that very one-sidedly, and in this last season, he took it all the way to game 7 and just about won that series. Just a couple of minor mistakes, if they were rectified, could have resulted in a Snow victory.
Yeah, he came really close, especially in recent times. I do feel like it's about time that players like Snow and Best, they should be getting a title right about now. And as Solkey's out of the tournament, there's no reason why any of these guys can't go the distance now. Usually it is that Solkey being the block. We've got a little bit of a history record here showing you there's a round of 24 win for Effort in Season 3, a round of 16 win for Effort in Season 6, I believe. And then there's a Snow win more recently. So 2-1 in the best of 1 series here at the ASL. A little bit of back and forth. Effort getting the better end of Snow in this event ever so slightly, but this is a totally different kettle of fish now in a best of 7. Everything changes.
Oh my God, the record here is actually disgusting. I mean, if you take Solkey out of those games, I would say he's probably got like a 70% all-around win rate. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Closer to 60 or 50, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
All right, statistician Xun. Okay, fine. It is what it is. This is a great record as well. Effort here. Absolutely dominant in his in the early seasons of the ASL. Was an incredible performer, and it seems like he is back from the dead. He has reappeared here in a big way, fully reincarnated at his peak performance.
Well, he's been gone for so many years. It's almost like he got abducted by aliens. He's so good at Zerg, they mistook him for one of their own spies and maybe snuck him away into a UFO somewhere and realized, oh, we made a mistake. This guy's just so good at StarCraft. Let's just put him back down onto Earth so he can keep doing what he does best. We're going to be jumping straight into the action, guys. The ASL Season 20 Round of 8 between Snow and Effort. The first map, it's going to be Screaming Sea. Let's get this show on the road.
Snow spawning here. In the top right, excuse me. We got Effort in the bottom left. Screaming Sea, first map of the night. Snow picking that for himself. He's definitely got a plan here. What's it gonna be, Snow?
Yeah, I'm thinking Reaver Ser. It's got to be, right? Like, this is such a good map for Reaver Ser, and he's such a potent Reaver user. The only thing I could think of is maybe he wants Effort to think that, so he's got something totally different planned to kind of obscure and obfuscate that. Oh, another Saiyan and Johnson! Hello again, French guy. We appreciate you so much.
Shout out Emmanuel. He sent me a message. Thank goodness he was able to get into the ASL studio. I know he wasn't able to get a ticket, so they had some standing room in the back. That's fantastic. Didn't have that when I was there a couple of years ago, but I'm glad that they've added it in, allowing more people to get into the studio. I think it's only like 70 seats or something like that, so it's a pretty exclusive event if they didn't allow people to come in standing space.
Right. Yeah, definitely a bit of an exclusive club. I'm happy to see you in the crowd, Manuel. That's your name. Really do appreciate your dedication to the sport and showing us a little bit of love as well for what we do. So much love back to you. Meanwhile, Snow, he's not going to be doing anything like a cannon rush or attempting to here. He's got no early forge. He's just doing a quick scout, identifies the opener from Effort, and will be making a safety forge now, I believe. It is slightly longer rush distance, so he doesn't necessarily have to make the forge this early, but I guess it kind of curves out nicely for the build either way.
Yeah, the 9 pool, I mean, we'll see the level of commitment here from Effort. That could be just 4 lings. It could be 6. And so he wants to make sure that he's got the cannon started in good time. He'll probably make the Nexus before cannon, I imagine. What do you think? Is he going to make that first?
He could, yeah. But I don't think he should. I think it would be better if he just makes the cannon. I think it's only a few, I don't know how many exactly seconds quicker it is, longer it is for these Zerglings to get here. I imagine at least about 4 or 5 seconds longer at the very least. So he can go cannon, Nexus, gateway, cannon, and try and pro block. Maybe it's a little bit risky to do that. Usually you just throw down 2 cannons against 9 pool, but I guess with the longer rush distances, he's going to go cannon, Nexus, gateway, and then just kind of block with the probes and try and get a little bit of a cheeky greed play here.
Yeah, he might not have been able to finish that cannon in time, actually. I think we'll see maybe 1 probe end up going down. Perfect positioning here on that probe, and so none will fall. Snow rotating around here. Gas before a 3rd base from Effort. So in all likelihood, he's going to be going for a very fast layer. Trying to put some pressure on in the air. How's that going to work against Snow, who's likely opening Corsair and maybe even double Stargate going into that Reaver Ser player talking about earlier?
Yeah, he's really worried about the Zerglings. You can see he's still attacking his own buildings with the probes. That's not a mistake, guys. That's so that it forces the probes to not move. So they're essentially on hold position. If the Lings do try and target them down, they'll stay plugging up those gaps until the probes die. It's really important that you do that. If you expect something like a Zergling run by, you should be pulling those back to mine now. That he knows that the Zerglings are inside the base of Effort trying to chase this probe down. Seems like he wants to keep the majority of those Lings on the ramp, though, to deny any scout in the main base, because he's actually kind of faking out Snow and wants to throw down a quick Hydra Den. It's very hard to pull off a Hydra bust on these kinds of maps because of the high ground natural. But the reality is you're not expecting the Hydra bust, so it's more likely to work because you'll maybe undermake defenses.
This is exactly the kind of trickery that I was talking about. A very tricky Zerg player. Effort is going to go for something weird, and Snow is onto it. He knows that something's happening here. He's trying to get some information with that probe, trying to get it out in front. He's actually sent, I believe, a Zealot. He's going to actually turn it around now and head back home. So Still not getting the confirm on anything that's happening here. He's really doing a great job of keeping this probe alive, though.
Yeah, he's kind of dancing with death as well. Like, one tiny mistake with these Zerglings, and that probe probably would have slipped by into the natural. And that's and a good way of also obfuscating this build, because it doesn't look too suspicious if you're just trying to hunt down the probe normally like this, rather than just constantly keeping the Lings at the ramp. That's a little bit more suspicious when you're only keeping the Zerglings on the ramp. It's like, well, what are you up to? What are you trying to hide so badly? When you're hunting down the probe actively like that, might not be as easy for Snow to realize something is up. He's going to make a cannon behind the minerals that'll allow him to make cannons in the mineral line in case it was something like a Mutalisk play. But pretty soon he's going to have to throw down a second safety cannon and maybe even start a third that will be cancelled if he doesn't spot the Hydras. But since he will spot the Hydras, he will allow the third cannon to finish. But he hasn't yet thrown down that third cannon.
Oh, please send this in the right direction. He's going to see the Hydra. Oh, okay. Very important that he sees that Hydra. He's going to try and harass the Overlord here. Cancels his second Stargate. Very good cancel there. Making sure that he's not going to be overspending on anti-air in a situation like this. He just needs cannons. And he may also need some vision on a pylon or on a mineral patch so that he can pull his probes to block this. Coming right up onto the high ground. And yes, indeed, it is a fake. A fourth base goes down immediately. Lair on the way. He's going to see that and probably stop at 4 to 5 cannons here on the high ground. Yeah, just 4 cannons is going to be enough. Robotics on the way. It is likely to be that Reaver play you were talking about earlier, Xun.
Yeah. I'm not too surprised at all from how either one of these gamers has opened up. And I think this is a similar way that Queen played against Snow in the KCM in terms of getting this fast 4th base online, and it's really great for Zerg to have as many bases as possible in the early game. You might be thinking, oh, surely it's a bit risky to have this very early 4th, and it's hard to defend on such multiple locations, but the reality is, the more mineral fields you have available to you, the more optimized your builds will be, especially being able to like pick and choose between the best mineral patches to mine. So it will propel the economy of effort in a big way and allow him to make a monstrous amount of Hydras that he'll be able to slap down something like a Ser Reaver play from Snow, and he's going to make some safety Sunkens as well at the back of those mineral lines towards the water's edge, just to make it the more trickier for any damage from those Reavers to occur.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to make sure that those don't die. Ooh, he loses a Corsair out here. I just wanted to mention the cannon at the front was unpowered there for a moment during that Hydralis play as the pylon there at the bottom of the wall went down. But didn't even notice there. It's one of those things where you just don't expect your opponent to make an error like that, or just to have something like that occur. And so he didn't even check. He didn't even click on it to see if it was unpowered. Plus, he wasn't following up with a huge amount of Hydras or anything. So with the transition coming online here, wasn't able to take advantage of that. However, he has gotten himself into burrow. He's got this 4th base up. He's got spore colonies all over the place to help himself defend. Sunken colony actually in behind. I thought that this was going to be a spore, but Sunken to start hitting that Reaver the moment that it drops out. Pretty slick here from Effort. He is ready for this 100%.
Yeah, he didn't even have the early Evo chamber for a spore. It's just to, really make it awkward for the Reavers to do anything in that natural. If they were to come out and try and snipe some pro drones, is more or less guaranteeing damage onto that Reaver as a result. I like how Snow's playing, though. He's kind of compensating, getting a quick 3rd base island. One of the things that's weakest about going for a Reaver play early is that it can be very tricky to get a 3rd base on the way, and the Zerg can have a win condition just by isolating you on 2 bases for as long as possible. Not the case on this kind of map. Because the Zerg didn't open up quick into Lair and Spire, there's no real way of punishing this fast island expansion from Snow here. So that's going to help give him a big boon to fight against Effort. Overall, though, I do prefer Effort's position with this fast 4th base, and there's been no harassment damage from Snow thus far with that kind of pressure play from the Hydra Bus. So this is going to be a bit of a sticky situation for Snow, because yes, he's got this island-based mining. Effort sees that now with the Scourge, but he hasn't done any damage to Effort and is going to be relying predominantly on a ground force of infantry to get the job done. And I'm not so sure that's going to be successful against Effort that's powering on 4 bases right now.
Effort just finished up Overlord speed. It's going to be a little while yet before drop can become a factor with that later layer. And so he's not really able to harass this base, this third base. And you can see that Snow knows that completely. He hasn't built a single cannon over there at all. He's completely foregone defenses at that location, and he's pushing very hard here towards this center bridge. He's going to have Reavers. This is what I love to see from Snow, juggling Reavers in a situation like this. Oh my god, so many Hydras underground right now. He could pop up, try to go after the Reaver. Can he get it? Target fire on the shuttle. Will he get the shuttle? Oh my gosh, perfect control here from Snow. He pulls the shuttle out of range and gets an excellent shot with that Scarab in the middle of the pack. Now he's got a lot of potential here with this fight.
Oh, it's a great idea from Effort, but even better control from Snow. Effort, though, does dive onto that shuttle, takes it out, trying to pick off these Reavers. One goes down, the other's basically one shot in the back line. Snow trying to do what he can with what small forces he can muster, but he's trying to force Effort into a bit of a back foot situation where he's having to trickle in just a few units at a time and not allow him to macro up a monstrous amount of Hydras. 2 come in from the back, do snipe that Reaver, though. Great target firing from Effort. He just needs to weather the storm and not allow the Protoss to disrupt his economy or production too heavily, and he's so far done a good job of that. Snow retreating to that bridge. He's kind of got a little bit of SimCity issues in his main base in terms of unit flow. Not easy to get all those Dragoons to the front to reinforce. He needs to apply a lot of pressure to Effort soon before he gets into full late game macro mode. A couple of lurkers as well now popping out.
It's a shame that he didn't send these Corsairs in a little earlier to get some damage done on a few Overlords, because definitely Effort was sending absolutely everything to defend this push, and the Corsairs were kind of just hanging out over top during that fight. Now they're flying around and looking for some sort of damage, but they're not really finding anything. Overlord heading out on the map that could be filled with lurkers now, or Hydras potentially as well. Yeah, he's got drop for sure. He does find that Overlord heading in that direction. Nothing inside that drop, but there's a bunch of Overlords here at the 12. Is he going to go for a drop in the main to follow this up? Hard to figure out exactly where the attack is coming in when you're spread out this much here as Snow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think a drop from Effort is actually that great of an idea. Like, 1, Snow isn't being that hyper aggressive right now, but 2, it might soften him up too much for a counter attack from Snow if this isn't successful. This has to be so critical from Effort. Like, he needs to target fire some buildings down very quickly, like this robotic support bay or forge that's making an upgrade. This has to be a really efficient drop. He is going to be pulling the entire army of Snow back during this, so it's going to be buying a lot of time for Effort. If he just goes after the forge here, that would be great. He's targeting that down now. Reaver coming in to try and support that and keep it alive. Lurker also there to deny mining and maybe rip through some drones. He does get the forge, cutting off the upgrade at least. Would be great if you get the support bay as well, but it doesn't matter. As long as you get something like the forge, that does kind of make this drop worth it, especially because he's keeping the army of Snow pinned down for so long.
That's a lot of Dragoons, Xun. He wants to go for what looks like a PvP army here. Just mass Dragoons, a few Zealots mixed in, and a buttload of Reavers to follow up as well. Big drop making its way across the map. It gets caught by the Corsairs before it can land over here at the third base. That drop right there would have killed the third if it had made it across. But now those units are kind of marooned over at the island base. Does Effort have enough to hold back at home when this finally comes forward? He's actually sending in even more, and he's going to send in the Scourge as well. 2 Corsairs left. Looks like he's going to drop in the main and go for the third at the same time.
Oh, we could have a bit of a base trade. Oh no, Snow's turning around to defend this. I think this is the wrong play from Snow. I feel like there's not much to defend for Effort. You need to be hyper aggressive. A drop at the 3 o'clock as well, simultaneously. Effort ripping through the defensive line of Snow. Some of the forces now for Snow starting to gather at the bridge location to go for an assault. He does need to counterattack Effort. That's the one thing that's weak about Effort's play right now, is it does open up the counterattack, but he's got some lurkers finishing up. Like, even a lurker lurker drop in the natural as well. This is crazy. So much damage at 3 different locations from this alien Zerg, really putting the hurt onto Snow. Losing that base at the 3 o'clock is critical. He has got his natural third on the way, but currently he's barely mining.
Yeah, he's hardly mining at all. He's got to be so perfect with this Reaver. He almost loses the shuttle flying forward, but manages to pull back at the last possible second. These Reavers here are crucial for this attack. He has to completely surround them with his Dragoons and Zealots and do everything he can to push through here, but it's not looking good, man. Effort is massive right now. He's got so many lurkers, so many Hydras. He's gonna run forward. Can he get the kill on these Reavers? He's gonna target them down. Big hits from the Scarabs. He kills both of the Reavers and takes away a lot of the pushing power from Snow.
He does have a lot of Dragoons in that standing army. Still another lurker dropping the natural expansion, forcing the evacuation of probes, still draining the mining income of Snow right now. He's not mining in his main or his natural. There's been constant lurker harassment. Observer even missed the lurker in the main base just a moment ago. There's hardly any income for Snow while he tries to stabilize back at home, which means he can't macro up a strong enough army to just walk over the defensive line of effort. And this defense on the high ground from effort is masterful. There's not been a lot of units up here, just some lurkers, some spores, a couple of sunkards, and a few hydras, and it's stopping the Dragoons from getting up onto that high ground and keeping them pinned back towards this bridge location. Effort doing a great, masterful job here. Snipes the observer as well, but there's still one observer remaining. Snow has a chance of breaking through this tight choke, but can he do it?
Oh, the observer goes down immediately. Great snipes here by Effort. Just delay and delay and delay, and he should be able to take this victory if he delays long enough, preventing Snow from getting any return damage after killing off his third base. Overlords here looking for more harassment opportunities. Looks like they might be able to find this third base and get some damage here with a few Hydras. 4 Hydras going to quickly deal with that cannon. Reaver going to be brought forward to keep this third base alive for now, but this push it's looking so hard for Snow right now. Can he actually hold this position? Just one Reaver in the mix and all of these lurkers running forward. So many Hydras here as well. They're very clumped up right now, but no Storm available. Just the one Reaver giving out some splash damage. It's not quite going to cut it. There's the shuttle speed kicking in at the very last moment. This was actually pretty well held by Snow. Overall, a lot of units went down there, and maybe Snow can start to push in.
Yeah, it was a really good trade there for Snow, but Effort's got 2-1 upgrades. Snow just the +1 armor, I believe. So he has to trade masterfully to make this work. He's relying predominantly on those Reavers to do the heavy lifting with the splash damage, since there's no Psionic Storm. He's starting to rip through the defensive line of Effort ever so slightly. Effort been macroing up like a man. Another lurker drop at the 3rd, killing so many probes. 9 kills on one of those lurkers. Absolutely insane the amount of harassment from Effort this game. Gonna be jumping forward, trying to target those Reavers down. Snow shuffles them back, trying to get as much great connections with those Scarabs as possible. He's done a masterful job of ripping through these Hydras with those Scarabs. He has a chance now at knocking out this base of Effort. Effort trying to get behind this army and shut off reinforcements at the bridge if he can. Now surges forth to target fire down these Reavers. Is successful in doing so. He's thinning out the assault of the Protoss here. Just too much for Snow to continue, and he's struggling back at home to get enough mining.
Yeah, he's about to mine out, and Effort is continuing to shut down his bases while expanding into the top left-hand corner as well. Snow has no idea about this, and it's unlikely he's going to scout it either. There is the thing, right? Effort is running out of money as well, right? He just mined out his third base. His natural and main are not too far behind that. Are we going to see both players kind of fall back and start to take more bases? Snow has the opportunity to take the top center still. That's on his side of the map, and it'll be very hard for Effort to shove across that bridge against Dragoon Reaver.
Oh, it's been so annoying with these overlords and lurkers the entire game. It's crazy how active Effort's being. Still churning away over 400 APM is this Snow, barely keeping up with 300. But Effort is not mining as much as he once was. Did kind of recuperate some of those deficits. Oh, another lurker drop at the 3rd. Luckily, there's some units here with an observer, but he does lose a massive train of probes regardless, and he kills the observer with Scourge. How crazy is Effort playing right now? And with this island in the top left, that's going to be be a big boon to Effort to solidify this position. He's currently eclipsing Snow in supply, and Snow desperate to get some kind of stabilization at these mining bases.
Is it too late to change my my prediction here, Xun? My God, Effort is playing so freaking good.
He's gonna
It's
do some damage
crazy.
on top left though with this Reaver.
Yeah, this Reaver drop is gonna get something done for sure. These sunken colonies probably won't be able to come online, but Scourge are gonna be here in a moment. Gotta run with that
Oh,
shuttle. God. Okay. Oh my gosh, he just
So
needs
close.
one hit. He just needs one hit. Does get it. But the Reaver manages to survive. Again, back in with some more damage. Muta's being made now as well.
This is crazy.
Dude, Effort really knows how to turn the screw on a Protoss player.
I'm getting so many chills from watching this. I don't even know what's going on. And there's the Reavers isolated. There's a low HP shuttle, barely scoops them up. Effort is playing out of his mind right now, saying, I hate to say a Toadacil, but a Toadacil. Look at this. This is absolutely amazing for him. He's going to dive into the Reavers now. Mutant is going to be shutting down the Reavers in the backline while the Hydras mop up the Dragoons on the bridge. That's going to be a GG from Snow. He taps out the first win on the board for Effort.
Whew. Wow. Effort. So scrappy, man. So incredibly scrappy. I mean, you don't expect to see a play like that from him at all. Going for the bust on the wall, the kind of fake out Hydra bust on that map. I thought it was an impossibility. You've got the high ground. It should be impossible for the Zerg to just come in there, kill the wall, and then back away into a macro play. You either go all in and just dive the cannons, or you don't. But Effort showed that there is a possibility of a middle ground. There is a transition opportunity. And the power of a lurker drop on that map, incredible, despite how many Corsairs were made in this game.
It's crazy how active he's being with these overlords and lurkers. Like, even an overlord with a lurker in the top right for a while as well. Like, I mean, Snow just couldn't even keep up with the task switching. Like, seriously, like, he's called the Alien Zerg for a reason. His play is out of this world, and most of these guys not able to keep up, and he's in full-on champion mode right now. Effort. Like, he's playing this like it's a finals. He's taking these games so seriously. There is, like, no fat on the steak at all. Everything is so crisp from him. Even when he is being suicidal with his Hydras, it's for good reason to either gain ground force, snow back, snipe these Reavers. I mean, everything was just so amazingly well done from Effort. Snow wasn't even playing bad this game. Effort was just playing insane.
Yeah, he was playing absolutely out of this world. Every move, you know, we saw some things like Hydras running in, lurkers running in, maybe dying or whatever. But every time he did something like that, he was taking advantage of it by sniping observers, running forward with other Hydra groups to snipe down these Reavers. And I mean, he just played a fantastic game against a really unorthodox style, showing us exactly how it's done here on Screaming Sea.
Wow, yeah, just almost speechless with that game number one from Effort. I feel a little bit vindicated now. A lot of people didn't think that Effort had what it takes and thought maybe I was a little bit crazy in supporting this guy, especially against the likes of Snow, who really should be a champion by now. Seems like if Effort keeps playing like this, he might be getting that third star on his chest at this rate, Sam.
It's possible. It certainly is, but it's only game number one. This is a long series, and that was a crazy map. Can Effort do the same on some of these macro maps as well? We're actually going to get more insanity here soon, though. We got Litmus coming up soon. I guess that's, what, map number 3? Something like that? I mean, it's going to be so much fun, Xun. I got a big smile on my face. I can't wait for this series to continue. We're going to have a little bit of a commercial break, but when we get back, guys, it'll be match number 2. So happy that we've got Google as a sponsor here for ASL, by the way.
Yeah, I'm really stoked that we've got such big names. Gives us a lot of hope that this beautiful game, StarCraft, will be around for a very long time to come. We had Roaring Currents for game number 1, Screaming Sea. We'll be calling it probably Screaming Sea more often than not. But next up, we've got Metropolis, guys. That's Effort's pick. Remind that game 1 was Snow's pick. So now we're even going on a map that's more comfortable for Effort. And statistically speaking, it does have a pretty big edge towards Zerg against Protoss. I think it's 55 to 45. So if Effort picks up a quick 2-0 victory here, that could spell a little bit of disaster for our Protoss boy. I hope it doesn't kind of pan out that way. Even though I want Effort to win and I expected him to win, I actually kind of want a bit more of a back and forth series. I was expecting a 4-2 victory here for Effort, but a 4-3 would be even more entertaining.
You get rid of one epic, strong Zerg player, and another one just steps into his place. It's like a Hydra, man. The moment that Sulky goes down, Effort steps into his place and is standing in the way of Snow once again. He's got to keep his cool, see if he can finally take home an ASL title. He did seem pretty composed even after that loss. Didn't seem to be too shaken there. But we'll see how it goes the rest of the series. If he gets another loss here, if he, like you said, loses on Metropolis, then will he be able to keep his mental game in check? Because as the series gets worse and worse, it becomes harder and harder to keep your head on straight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, can you imagine being 2-0 down in a best of 7 on stage like this? It must be such a dampener on your mood and ability to concentrate to the best of your abilities. That's the kind of thing you need, though, as a champion. That's one of the reasons why I like players like Best. No matter how dire his situation is, he always finds a way of coming back swinging like Rocky. And that's the kind of fighting mentality Snow needs to adopt here in this series. He doesn't tilt nowhere anywhere near as much as someone like Mini, so I do have strong hopes that Snow's going to fight back strong in this series at some point. But the sooner the better. You do not want to allow Effort to pick up a quick 2-0 lead here. That will really start to make it such an insurmountable hurdle for you to overcome. So for Snow's sake, he needs a win.
Yeah, he absolutely does. He was hoping that he could leverage his insane Reaver control to just overcome in this first game on Screaming Sea. But despite that control, Effort with the multitasking, the drops, and the excellent observer snipes they managed to pull off there, shuts down Snow and gets himself a win on Snow's map pick. Guys, we're going to go to a short commercial break here in a moment. Get yourself a drink. Get ready for more epic action coming right up. All right, guys, we are back. Short little break there, but we're ready to jump into game number 2. Really excited to see how Snow wants to try to seize back the momentum in this series. Going into this next map, Metropolis. Can be a bit of a difficult map. Can be a troubling map when it comes to drop play, for sure. So we'll see if maybe Effort wants to continue to mix stuff like that in. Seems like Snow not quite able to keep up with him in that last game.
I mean, that Ginger video would be even funnier if we saw like 8 Zerglings being dropped into the main with an Overlord, and that's somehow turning into a victory. I would just be kind of doing like mental backflips if that was to occur. But we have seen a lot of Zergs shy away from that kind of trickery. When the map first was debuted, we saw that kind of shenanigans, but seemed like it got shut down more often than not. So a lot of Zergs kind of like didn't even go for that anymore, just relying on shutting out Protoss from an easy 4th base and keeping them isolated in their corner of the map and taking it to the distance. And yes, you can go for drops in the main. It's a massive boot-shaped main base, but you don't necessarily need to abuse that to still take advantage of Protoss here.
Wow, we just saw the online poll between
That
the
was
two
close,
players.
right?
That was super close, 51 to 49. I think that might be one of the closer polls we've ever seen. Most of the time, the Koreans are pretty much set on which is the leader, who is the favorite to win. But here, completely split down the middle, slight edge to Snow. I feel like I agree with the Korean audience here, but Effort putting on a great show game number 1. He's definitely got the momentum. We'll see if he can carry it through.
I mean, if Snow wins this series, it's going to be pretty hype. I mean, it would mean the whole series would be pretty epic. So no matter what happens, I'm going to be a happy camper. I'm just even more elated that Effort put on such a good showing on Snow's map pick in game number 1. Screaming Sea, I would say, such a flavorful map and very spicy. So getting to see that right out of the gate really sets the tone for the rest of this series now. Next up is going to be Metropolis, which is Effort's pick. And if Snow allows a 2-0 victory lead for Effort, he's in rocky shape. So I'm hoping that Effort will not be able to get this game, but we'll see. We're going right into it. ASL Season 20, Round of 8 between Snow and Effort. Game number 2 on Metropolis. Let's get it started, guys.
Snow, top right. Effort, bottom right. You know, I don't know, man. I'm looking at Snow right now. He looks very calm, but I don't really like the look in his eye, or I don't really like the way that he's positioned here, his posture here. I feel like he's almost resigned a little bit. I hope that I'm wrong, but I've been watching Snow for many seasons, and I know when he's feeling confident and when he's feeling a little bit put off in a series. But I hope that he's managed to put his head on straight here. He's still got so many games to go. He's got so many opportunities to take a win here. And this is a big one. Game number 2. Looks like he's going to be throwing down a gateway first going forward.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong as well. I don't want Snow to, be deflated at this point. Maybe he was expecting a game 1 victory on that map since it was his pick and he had a strategy in mind and was thwarted by Effort in quite a significant fashion. Maybe his whole entire series was kind of banking on getting that early victory and now he's not quite sure where he stands. I definitely hope that's not the case, and we'll see a Protoss fighting strong here still. By the way, some of those signs in the crowd were seriously cute, especially the colored unit pictures and stuff. Like, I like that people go the extra mile to give us some of the best cheerfuls in the crowd.
Oh my goodness. Snow going Nexus first. It's a overpull. You can get a cannon up before the Lings get to your natural. It is possible. He's probably going to have to double cannon, though. This is a really risky opener, especially since Effort went 9 pool last game. And he's even going to get over here and scout now. The drone is on the way. Snow is heading in the wrong direction. This could be pretty bad here, Xun. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold this off or not. He needs double cannon now.
He's put a lot of damage onto the probes, and now he could hit the cannon with the drone as well and put a couple of shots onto that to make it even easier to bust this. Yeah, he's going to do that. And this is the tricky situation when the Zerg gets to scout this early, and you get a couple of hits on that cannon. Unless your lings are really slow, it's quite easy to break that cannon. So Snow's going to have to pull at least a few probes to plug the gaps so that the Zerglings can't just kill this cannon before it finishes. So he's going to have at least one probe blocking that. So you definitely will keep this cannon alive. So I don't think anything too dramatic is going to happen now. I feel like the early game has been navigated well for Snow.
Run by. Run by.
Oh! He's going to block it.
Oh my god. What? Those lings just went right through the probes, but he manages to block on the ramp. Really nice block there from Snow. I was kind of mystified there at first. The lings ran right through those probes. At least that's what it looked like to me, but very good hold. And he gets away with making only one cannon as well, which is a little bit risky in a situation like this. The run by getting shut down is very painful for Effort. He just lost all of his early lings for free, and now he's going to have to deal with the Zealot. He's already behind in economy, and he has to make more lings now. This is a bad spot for Effort.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best situations that we could have hoped for Snow. And I was really hoping that he'd be beating Effort in this game number 2. I didn't want it to be too much of a one-sided affair and Snow get completely deflated by going down 2-0 and losing his mojo overall. Seems like this is one of the best openings he could have hoped for, getting away with a Nexus first and a failed run-by attempt from those Zerglings. He's in a great spot now. Zerg will have to play from behind pretty much, and there's not many options available to Effort besides just hoping for the best and playing his A game and trying to catch up in the ebb and flow of the game. There's no like cheeky shenanigans he can go for anymore to punish Snow. He just kind of has to let it ride.
Yeah, Snow definitely in the driver's seat right now. He's going to be sending in a second Zealot to that natural. See if he can slip by, get some more information inside this main base, see if there's a Hydra Den or not, while this other Zealot is running interference over at that base. Oh, he doesn't try to go behind the minerals. He gets a drone kill, though. One drone kill. Can he get a second drone kill? Huge kills here from Snow, denting that economy even further as he sneaks the probe into the main. Dude, Snow is in a great spot right now. Absolutely fantastic. If he loses this game, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, if he loses this game, there's no way he's winning the series, guys. He should definitely find a way of closing this out. Effort's so good that maybe he could turn it around the later this game goes, but definitely Snow in such a commanding position after this early game has panned out. Not only getting those 2 drone kills, but getting a full scout off with the probe in the main as well. I mean, that's just money for a Protoss. The one thing you're worried about as a Protoss is not having complete information and not being able to min-max things perfectly going into the mid-game. But if you do get that confirmation, everything is just so perfect. All of your tech timings and when you place down gateways, do you make any additional cannons? This is all super important for a Protoss player to find as powerful as a mid-game as possible. That's where most of their win percentage comes from, is that mid-game, similar to ZVT. But if you can get good scouting information, it shoots that win percentage up oh so much.
He sees Hydra. Effort is flipping the script. Usually you don't see a layer like this going to Hydra Den. It's generally going to be a Spire, but he's going to switch it up now. Pops out a couple Hydras to defend these Overlords. He's got most of them back home. No kills on this Corsair so far. He sees everything, though. And what's going to be the answer here for Snow? With this bit of an economic advantage early, can he press the issue with something like a 2-base attack? Big 2-base attack. Big run by potential. Nope, not going to happen. 2 cannons are done. And so that would be a little bit too much pain for Effort to try to run by.
Yeah, I mean, the Templar Archives is pretty crisply timed, so I don't think there's any like pre-storm bust timing that Effort can go for here. I think this is just a massing of Hydras and basically going spireless for as long as possible, since maybe he thought he couldn't, you know, play a more traditional Orthodox style with Scourge into Hydras, and he needed to kind of double down on just playing Eco and Army only for the time being. It's got an Evo chamber here to Sim City. It's very hard for Zealots to get surface area with that kind of building configuration, but the third base is much more exposed. So I imagine Snow's going to want to hit that third base in just a moment here. I'm not so sure Effort will be able to defend it crisply, but we'll have to see.
Just 2 Hydras here in the natural. That's enough to hold back.
Oh, it's a mind game.
Oh, he's actually going to run by over here at the natural. 2 Zealots going to run in. Run interference for these Hydras, start to kill the Hydras, and then the Corsairs can go for the kills on the Overlords. Is he going to get one? Not quite, just barely not able to get that kill. 2 Zealots managed to slip by, the rest are going to run back home.
This is really high-level stuff from Snow. It kind of like faked out Effort. Effort transferred most of those Hydras to the third base, expecting the weaker position to be hit like I did. But really, it was just a bit of an alley-oop to set him up for getting some 2 Zealots into the main base. Is causing a lot of frustration and havoc on Effort's side of the map now. Effort in trouble. There's even a DT now out on the map. Could be slipping in to this third base, or at the bare minimum denying a 4 from ever going up.
Okay, boys incoming. Effort looks very well set up, though. He should be able to defend pretty well. I mean, he's lost no Overlords from these Corsairs. Only 2 Corsairs were made. So it's not a huge commitment into Corsairs or anything like that. He doesn't need to get a massive amount of damage. The element of scouting here alone is going to be pretty worthwhile. But Effort's just done a very good job defending. He is setting up for a big macro game. He's got lots of drones popping out here. A counterattack making its way around the left-hand side. That's been not unspotted by Effort until now. He sees it with the drone that was sent out to try and take the 4th. Corsairs coming into this base. He's going to go after the Overlord. 1 Corsair goes down immediately. Drones are going to start to fall. Hydra's coming in from the backside. How many drones are going to go down here? This is some good damage as a counterattack comes in towards the natural as well. That's a little bit too good of a defensive position. Will have to turn around and back away, but Snow doing a good job of poking and prodding Effort while he's trying to macro up.
Yeah, he killed like 5 or so drones in total in that bottom left. Really impressive from Snow. Just his army movement alone is such high-level stuff. I can't even believe that Snow is playing with this kind of composure as well. Like, sometimes when you're far ahead in a game, you kind of get a little bit ahead of yourself and a bit cocky, and you kind of run it down a bit too brazenly. But Snow's actually being very tentative with how he's approaching this game and trying to solidify his lead without taking too many chances. And this could propel him into a great setup where he's able to get this third base online pretty much uncontested, as well as having such a strong mid game overall. Finally, that 4th base coming down from Effort in the bottom left. And yes, Snow's going to get this third base on easily, but the next thing on the agenda for Effort will be allowing this third base to go uncontested, but eventually challenging him for a 4th with a more late game phase in mind.
Yeah, he's definitely made a lot of drones to try and get this economy fully online. Kate boys sneaking into the 6 o'clock. No alert goes out when you're getting killed like this, when you're losing drones like this. He's not got his screen over at this third base. He's building a bunch of sunken colonies, getting prepared for this 2-base all-in, but he just now sees it. 15 kill DT, 16, 17 kill DT is going to go running out of this third base. Oh my god, it lives.
And he's just now starting to pressure out on the map with additional units. Effort wants to remake drones, so no matter what happens, he won't have a very large standing army to fight against Snow either. Snow, if he wants to. Oh, he's going to kill some drones at the 4th base as well. 18 kills, potentially 19. Finally shuts down that DT with 18 kills. That's crazy value for that invisible man. Hasn't yet got a 4th base of his own, but it doesn't matter after killing that many drones for the time being. Effort's in a little bit of turtle mode while teching into Hive, wanting to go into a late game situation. Snow's going to bring the fight to him now soon in a big way, and it's really tough for the Zerg. If you're behind your SimCity while Storm is at your door, it's really easy to overrun the Zerg. So Effort going to try and get his Hydras out in front while he still can, but I'm not so sure he's going to hold against this attack.
Well, he's going to have to snipe observers. That's really his only hope right now. Big Storm there on 2 lurkers. Going to get a couple of kills here. Flank coming up, but Snow just going to dive right on top of that. Oh, hold on. No observer there. Takes a lot of damage on these units from these 2 lurkers. Going to go ahead and trap them back down in the corner. But this is buying a little time for Effort. You know, he had to remake a lot of drones, so he wasn't really pumping out units for quite some time. Gonna be hard to get up onto that high ground right there. Snow being very careful, very tentative, not running it down, not trying to just dive on top of Effort right here. Trading out a little bit with these storms, getting a few kills here and there, and just backing away, looking for another point of weakness.
And this is a great opportunity for Snow to snag that 4th base as well, while Effort is so focused on defenses. So he should pretty much get away with this 4th base for free by the looks of it. He's got army on both sides of the map. Effort trying to break through on the right-hand side now. There's no observers with these Zealots. If he's not paying attention, he's going to lose so many Zealots. Does pull those away eventually. Now starting to lay siege to this bottom left pocket. There is not enough defenses here for Effort. He's trying to scramble some Sunkens by the hatchery. I don't think it's going to be in time. He's trying to egg block the ramp desperately, but he hasn't even got units going over there yet. He's waiting for a Nidus Canal to finish up, but will it even finish in time? I think Snow is going to break this base, Saiyan.
He's going to break the base, and even if stuff comes through the Nidus Canal, it's just going to get stormed immediately. Just drop the storm directly on the Nidus, and everything that pops out dies. Here he goes. Snow killing off this base in the bottom left-hand corner. Effort has to counterattack. He doesn't have a choice. He's got to go for an attack. I don't see Templar at the 3rd base, Xun. Maybe if Effort gets the kill on the 3rd, there's a potential here for him.
Oh, he's got some Templar in the rally point, though. He's going to try and target those down. Gets one of the High Templars with the Zerglings. Great target firing from Effort. But will it be too little too late? Snow currently ahead in supply by 70. Effort needs to find something soon. There's even the 4th base coming online that he's just now going to scout with that Overlord. Some Zealots moving into position to intercept anything en route to that. Effort just wants to run it down onto that expansion, but the army that killed the bottom left is also withdrawing to come and support this base as the cannons start to finish. As long as he's got an observer coming to this location, he should be able to clean out this attack cost efficiently enough to really put Effort in a sticky situation.
Yeah, this is a terrible situation right now for Effort with that extra base going up. He can't really challenge it. He's trying to get a Nidus Canal up, maybe quickly Nidus into one of these bases and set up a defensive position. Yeah, there it is. Nidus down bottom left, using the receding creep to try and make that happen. But if this doesn't work, the game is over. Effort is going to have to tap out. He's 100 supply behind. So, yeah. I mean, there's not much of a shot here. Effort is going to try and throw something against the wall, send a few lings over to top left, try to get some kills over there. But it looks like Snow's just on top of it. Here comes the Nidus Canal finishing up, but he's just going to immediately target that. It's dead, and Effort is just done in this game. GG.
Wow, great equalizer from Snow. Very impressive stuff. He does look pretty locked in, and a little bit of sigh of relief there from him as well, I imagine. Both players winning on their opponents' respective map picks. That's definitely a good sign now. We could have a really good series on our hands, like a 4-2 or 4-3, no matter who wins. Effort going to be thinking to himself where it all went wrong, and how did I let a Nexus first like that slip through my fingers in the early game? Now that he knows it's going to be in the mind of Snow to get away with a Nexus first occasionally in this series, it definitely changes the flavor of things and makes Effort reevaluate some of his previous assumptions.
I wonder if we're going to see another Nexus first in this series, actually. Maybe Snow prepared that build just for that map, considering it's a harder map to play versus Zergon, and he just needed a bit of an advantage. But, I mean, the opener there, this is just a great opener from Protoss. Excellent early game damage 2 kills on drones immediately. Oh, we're getting another shot of Emmanuel there. That's awesome. 2
Nice.
times, second time's the charm. Getting another look at his sign and his shout out to us. Very much appreciated. But yes, very good damage in the early game effort. Put against the ropes right from the beginning. I hope we're going to get a really nice even game here on Dominator. This is a classic map, 3-player map, and it's very... there's just so much that can happen here. So much fighting can occur, and it is a really wild and interesting map.
Yeah, it's a Zerg favored map as well. Let's see what happens. We're going to be jumping right into the action, guys. The ASL Season 20 Round of 8 between Snow and Effort. The map is going to be Dominator. I'm looking forward to this one.
Snow. Spawning top left. Effort. Center right. And I'm looking forward to this one a lot, Xun, because I struggle a lot on this map versus Protoss. I know that there's a pretty good, a pretty strong record for Zerg here, but I'm curious to see how Effort's gonna approach this, and I'm definitely gonna be taking notes.
Oh, you should. Yeah, he's a very strong macro Zerg, and I imagine he's got something cooked up for us here. I feel like the advantages of this map don't always come into effect until you get your whole macro set up as Zerg. Like, once you get like 4 bases worth of production and start running it down, I think that this map becomes the strongest for Zerg, but we'll see how Effort wants to approach it. I mean, he might not want to abuse the map in quite the same way as we would on the ladder. The reality is this is an ASL. Like, people play very differently in these offline tournaments than we would online. So he might have something totally different planned than I would be expecting. So I'm going to be watching him closely. It looks like maybe an 11 hatch from him to begin things off.
That does seem to be the choice here. Out of Effort, 11 hatch is going to give you access to more early... Oh, wait a second. 11 hatch at the 3rd?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's 12 hatch at the 3rd.
12 hatch at the 3rd. Okay. So, a little bit unorthodox. Nexus first again? Oh, my, oh my God. Really?
Okay, no. But is he going to expand again? Is he going to do 3 hatch before pool? Can you imagine if he goes 3 hatch before pool? I don't think he will, but that would be hilarious if Effort does that. I think he's going to make a pool, though.
Yeah, he made a pool. Oh my gosh. Wow. The greed. The levels of greed here. I mean, he could have gotten even greedier, but this is okay. It's not too bad. He's going to have a very quick hatchery at the natural, except he just took a gas as well. What am I actually looking at now? He's taking a gas.
That's a very quick gas.
Very quick gas after 12 hatch at the 3rd base. This is a really tricky build from Effort.
Yeah, I want to see what he's got in store, and does he have counterplay options for a 12 Nexus? I wonder. I mean, with taking the gas this early, kind of makes me think this might be a 2-base lair play. But it'd be so strange to go for 2-base lair with a faraway 3rd. So, really confused by the thought process here from Effort. I mean, I can understand him doing this while he's taking the natural, but taking the 3rd and rushing lair, that's unusual. That's definitely outside of the usual thinking.
Yeah, there's the layer. Snow sees it. He knows there has to be another base somewhere. I think he just went up onto the high ground and saw the creep. And so he knows where the 3rd is. I feel like there's a lot of different ways you could take advantage of this as Protoss. This type of really quick tech on 2 bases this far spread out. It feels kind of weak. It feels kind of gimmicky, honestly. I wonder what Effort's going to do. Like, is he just going to go mutas and lings and try to ogre Zerg the main? Or what are we going to see?
Maybe, but maybe this only works against the 12 Nexus, and that's why he's done it. He's quickly spotted the 12 Nexus opening from Snow, and he's quickly adjusted into that fast gas timing. As a result, maybe he would have played a bit more orthodox if this was a normal opening from Snow, but maybe he's got something very specific planned if it was going to be another Nexus first in a row, and he's got it kind of mapped out where he can get away with this cheeky distant third into fast Spire. I mean, there's something that Effort sees in the Matrix code that we don't see in.
Looks like he will take the natural now, adding on the third base just a little bit slower after this Spire comes in. It's almost like a 2.5 hatch, what we're seeing here. Modified versus Terran build with a kind of a weird placement here over at the third base, but Snow's just going to pretty much play normal. I mean, he should be in a good spot as long as he reacts here, has enough Corsairs, you know, makes a cannon in the main, makes one at the mineral line in the natural, that sort of thing. Just make sure he doesn't get bullied or bowled over by Effort. This is a good opportunity actually to make double Stargate. Like this would be a great game to make 2 Stargate actually. Right. Funny to see the players kind of throw that out in some kind of less than optimal situations, but this on the other hand would actually be a good situation to throw that down.
Yeah, maybe. It does seem like he's going to be doubling down into that Spire tech. He's mining gas at his third base location, which is his second base. Going to be kind of transitioning with this natural also being taken to go straight into. So it's kind of like a 3-base Spire, but it's like a 2.5 hatchery timing, like you were saying. Oh, catching the Zealots is actually a pretty big deal. Snow cannot afford to make another mistake like that. Yes, he got a Nexus first here, but you can't just throw away Zealots for free in these situations. And now that he's up against a potentially Ogre Zerg style, oh, please tell me that Corsair is not in the part. Okay, I think he's going to get away with that Corsair. I thought for a second the Mutinous would intercept that ever so slightly and get some moving shots to weaken it. But it seems like everything's going to be okay for Snow, at least for the time being, making cannons in the mineral lines to stabilize. Effort's going to want to be super annoying in this game, so before Snow gets enough count of Corsairs, he's going to be on the back foot a little bit, but he has got a second Stargate going up in the back of his main base to do what we thought he should and kind of get some air dominance.
Ooh, there we go. We get to see the micro here from Snow. Going to be flick-shotting as he tries to run away from the Scourge. This is some micro. We saw it a little bit there at the very beginning of the fight. There's some micro that really only Snow can do. Like, he's the only one we've seen really pull it off. He's going to be doing it here as the Mutas come in. They've killed one cannon, just one cannon. Going to back away from these Scourge. He's doing a great job of avoiding these Scourge, man. And the gas is running out of the tank here for Effort. Like, this is a pretty huge commitment to go in like this with the Ogre Zerg play. And now 3 cannons in the main. And he's got the... Oh, he's just going to send 1 Corsair to go and scout everything. I see. Very good move from Snow to just get the confirmation, see exactly what's happening behind this. And he's going to see 1 drone at the natural. He knows how all in Effort is, and he knows what a good position he's in.
Yeah, he did squeeze out a few drones just before that, maybe thinking about transitioning and throwing it down a macro hatchery. But his initial plan was basically to pull the trigger on some kind of all-in with Zerglings to break after the Mutalisks had done their job in picking off some of the cannons, and the Scourge managed to find connections on the Corsairs. But as you say, Snow played so good there, basically just breaking the ankles of Effort every which way. Going to be intercepting one of these Corsairs out on the periphery, though, not allowing that to get back to the safety of his base. So not the worst case scenario here for Effort. He's going to find one of those, but now with 5 Zealots moving out and Corsairs in number, going to be putting some pressure onto Effort at long last. He can't just sit back and drone anymore.
Yeah, this Corsair way down in the bottom left is actually going to live, funnily enough. Oh, double Hydra Den behind this. That's kind of crazy, but I think that it's pretty easy for Snow to come in and actually scout this. He's going to take this fight now. Oh my goodness, he's going to kill all these Mutas. Every Muta's going down here. Oh, wow. Great control. So much anti-air splash there. He is going to come in and see the Hydras popping. They're just in time to defend the Overlords here, but I mean, this is so many Corsairs. You cannot defend those Overlords, and so many Overlords are going to end up falling. Supply blocking Effort, no doubt. And there it is, GG. Ooh, the 2
Wow.
Stargate Corsair comes out in the perfect situation.
I'm so proud of Snow fighting back strong, especially against a monstrous Zerg that is Effort here, who's been absolutely thwarted. Yes, he kind of did some cheeky Nexus firsts to get here, but still, the kind of risks you need to take. Effort just reassessing things now. Headphones are off. Maybe just getting his ears of a chance to cool down after that. I can't even imagine how hot you get on stage with the lights and cameras in your face, and you got to play at like 300, 400 APM. Must be pretty intense. But he's going to go over that replay, see where he went wrong. I think I understand the idea there from Effort, but it turns out that punishing a Nexus first just as hard for Zerg as it is for Terran.
Yeah, it can be a real struggle, and uh, this is what I was talking about earlier with all the games versus Sulky coming in handy now. Like, he's really cautious in the way that he plays and is very reactive to what the Zerg is up to. These sneaky plays that Effort is trying these past 2 games, not really working out for him. They're not catching Snow off guard because he's seen the best. He's seen Sulky in so many different games, trick him, fake him out, go for Ogre Zerg plays like this, and he is very quick to react and react appropriately.
I mean, so far so good here from Snow. The next map's good. That's definitely a bit more of a spicy variation than Dominator. Will also be providing us exactly what it states in the name, what it says on the tin. We're going to have a litmus test for the rest of this series. I imagine whoever wins this next game might be very much a strong contender to take the whole thing. If Snow wins again, I really don't think Effort is going to be able to win 4-3. I think it'd be a 4-2 Snow victory if he does win on litmus. If somehow Effort fights back and equalizes, though, I see a 4-3 just as likely for Effort coming through in the end. So I think this next map might end up deciding the entire series, no matter who wins it.
Yeah, Snow is looking fantastic, guys. I'm really glad to see him performing at his best and going for double Nexus first. He's going to have to switch it up now. I mean, I can't. This is like the mind game. This is the poker aspect of Brood War, right? Like,
Yeah.
certainly not 3 times in a row, right? So then
Well,
why would Effort go for something like a 9 pool to try and punish, right? Because he knows there's no way Snow would go for Nexus first again. But then that's why he goes for Nexus first for a 3rd time. And then he gets it. Yeah,
I
this
mean,
is the poker aspect of Brood War, guys.
I've watched a lot of poker in my time back in the day, and I can tell you there's some maniacs out there that make it work, even when they're just shoving all in pretty much on any 2 cards just because of the tournament situation that they're in. They sometimes still just, get lucky and it pays off. And, you create enough of an image, a table image in that case, and it can really put pressure on your opponent and be thinking from behind rather than thinking of ways to get one up on you. So, I hope Effort is going to throw in something like a 9 pool speed eventually. The problem is you might do that at the wrong time, right? As we see no more Nexus first from Snow. So it's possible we see something crazy out of Effort and he just goes for like a 5 pool and then completely falls flat on his face because it's a quick 11-12 forge or something. So, I mean, there's no real right or wrong answers because at the end of the day, it is a bit rock, paper, scissory with incomplete information in that sense, but it still comes down to skill, despite having some build order luck at the early game stages. And on a 2-player map like we've got coming up in Litmus, it's even harder to obfuscate that kind of thing, like going for something like a 9 pool speed. So kind of Effort has to go for like a 5 pool or just not at all. Like, I don't think a 9 pool would be good on Litmus.
Just like poker, you need a bit of luck. Skill and hard work will only take you so far. So far, Snow has been a little lucky with the Nexus first. We'll see if that luck continues. 9 pool speed might not be a bad idea. I think it might be all right, especially on a map like Litmus, where you have the opportunity of the option to potentially bring a drone and hop over the back wall. There's a
Mm,
stasis cell back there with a mineral patch. We don't generally see Zerg players go for hopping over because it is such a hard thing to do. And
right.
you have to hop a lot of lings over in order to make it actually worthwhile and make it impactful. But that could be an option. That might be something that we see. Especially, let's say that he opens 9 pool speed, and then Snow has to build double cannon and get his Nexus and everything. He won't really have much aside from cannons at the front to defend himself. So there might be that option. There might be that possibility to do a hop over and really get some damage going. I'm very excited to get into this next match, guys, but we're going to be going to a commercial break here soon.
Yeah, did you see that the casters had their own collectible cards, by the way? They got their own Yu-Gi-Oh cards saying, wonder what their attack and defense stats are like. Anyway, guys, we're going to be going to a little bit of a break here. Run to the bathroom, grab some water, grab some fruit, whatever your choice, and join us back for some more crazy StarCraft action. It's going to be game number 4 between Effort and Snow on Litmus. We'll see you there.
All right, it's time for game number 4. This epic series. Snow has taken the lead and is looking really on point. Has everything that Effort wants to do in the back of his mind. He's cutting out the possible scenarios and ruling out what's coming, what can't be in his build order, and finally figuring out what's going on. Effort, he's shown a lot of interesting plays. He's shown a lot of tricky Zerg style, but is he really going to be able to take on Snow, who has so much practice against players like Sulky?
Yeah. I mean, the reality is Snow's come such a long way in Protoss versus Zerg. I'm really proud of Snow. He's been so dominant in PvT and pretty good in PvP in times past, but really struggled against Zerg thanks to Sulky especially, but has really improved himself. Like Barracks, he's come a long way too. We got so many great contenders here in the round of 8. It's kind of hard to pick your favorite. I'm sure you guys are fans of some new players you didn't quite expect. I think both players are just about ready, guys. We are going to be jumping into it. The ASL Season 20 round of 8, game number 4 between Snow and Effort. And the map is going to be Litmus. Let's get it going.
Snow spawning in bottom right. Effort over in top right. This map definitely favors some more creative styles of play. You've got plenty of different options here with how you want to approach all matchups, really, but this matchup as well. There's the potential here for an extremely powerful 2-base Protoss timing. I just want to throw that out there. With that second gas in the main, you can make an insane number of Templars for that attack, and it can be incredibly difficult to stop, Xun.
Yeah, let's just quickly do a rundown for these guys about what's so different about this map. So you've got these 2 gas guys in your main base, but they only have 3,000 apiece, which means it only takes, with 3 workers, 10 minutes to mine out each of those. So you could try and mine both of them and get a massive intake of gas all at once, or switch over from mining one to the other to have a few extra minutes of gas mining time total before you need an additional gas. So there's lots of different ways of approaching how you min-max your build order here. But there's also this back lane to your base with a secondary ramp which has a mineral patch and a stasis cell, which you can use the mineral patch to glitch units over and get them inside the main base behind the defensive line of your opponent. So definitely open to a lot of shenanigans here.
Was that overpool with gas? What we just saw in the main here?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, this is interesting. I mean, this is not good enough to punish a Nexus first, but it's not Nexus first anyway. And so he's going to get in here, see the build. This looks to me like we're going to have another Mutalisk play from Effort.
I think so, yeah.
But I think that's exactly what Snow's going to be thinking as well. And so Effort may want to change up his game plan.
He's going to get the speed, actually. Yeah, for a second there, I thought this was going to be like a Zerg versus Zerg build from Effort. But it does look like it's going to be speed initially. Super curious. Wait. No, he can't be doing that. For a second there, I was wondering, is he going to do like a 2-hatch Hydra play? And then I realized he's probably not going to be doing that, because you wouldn't want to open up overpool gas into hatchery for a 9-1 build. And yeah, I don't know exactly what the plan here is from Effort. I guess he just wants to obfuscate a 973 by having lane speed out. But he's actually got drones coming out across the map. He actually does want to glitch Zerglings behind that stasis field, it looks like, Saiyan.
Yeah, he's going to try that. Snow better build a pylon in this main base. Snow. Okay, he's sending a probe back here. He's sending a probe back here. He actually needs a pylon there because he can't build a cannon in the main just yet. He will have, yeah, he sees it. He sees it. This is pretty transparent the way that Effort's gone about it. Snow knows 100%. He's actually hitting. He's hitting the Ling. Oh my gosh, he's dealing damage to the Ling. Oh my god, the Ling actually glitched out there coming over the wall. Oh man, this is a little bit rough right now. He's buying so much time, and it's so hard to get these Lings over. This is the problem with this play like this. It takes a lot of time to get over with enough Lings to actually make it impactful. 2 Lings is all he's managed to hop over so far, and there's going to be a cannon in the main soon.
I'm just going to be real with you. The Zerg is the hardest race to do that with. Like, it's so much easier to get a Zealot or a Vulture over that mineral field with a worker glitching it out. So hard to do with Zerglings. It's kind of a miracle that he managed to get 2 in here at all. And yeah, with that cannon there, there's pretty much nothing he can do. Is he going to go Lurker Bust? He's got a Hydra Den and a Lair on the way. Is he going to try and Lurker Bust the natural? I'm curious. No way. Is he going to... Okay, Saiyan, hear me out. Yeah. He could glitch over Lurkers over the back stasis wall. He's going to glitch them out, go into the main base of Lurkers. This could be crazy.
Exactly, exactly. This is like a... Okay, I'm going to try to Lurker Bust you in the front. If it doesn't work, if you're way too prepared in the front, we're going to go around to the back. So it's a Lurker Bust with a potential for a secondary follow-up. And
yeah.
This makes sense as a follow-up, but I'm very curious to see whether Snow will be ready for it. Like, he should be right on his toes here. Like, he should be ready for something crazy to come, because he knows that Effort is in a really bad spot if he just wants to sit here and play a normal game. And look, he's even sending 2 probes back here. What are the 2 probes necessary for? He's gonna hop a probe over. Oh, he's gonna go scout. Dude, this is so smart. Oh, dude, Snow. Wow. I love Snow so much. Absolute god tier player. God tier Protoss player. Snow's gonna win a championship, I swear.
If I'm not mistaken, you can actually hit the natural probes with Lurkers kind of like on that water's edge beneath where the natural expansion is as well. So even if he can't get the Lurkers into the main base for whatever reason, he can harass the mining of the Protoss from back there still. Might be seeing some success in this Lurker play, regardless of it being scouted. We'll have to wait and see.
Let's see if he builds a cannon behind the mineral patches. I think he will. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Snow. Let's go. Oh my gosh. He's handling this perfectly.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, well, the real question is, does he even get the Lurkers to glitch over the stasis, or does he just kill the stasis and go, oh, he's going to stack them and try and get them in this way? There's a few ways you can get these Lurkers over here. He's kind of doing the droneless style, and I think you'll see him try and get the Lurker into that position I was talking about, but because the cannon being there, I don't think he can do that anymore. Maybe he can get it onto the far left and hit like 1 or 2 patches, but not the entire lower edge of that mineral line as he wanted.
This is utter domination. Oh my goodness. He's doing a fantastic job. He got 2 kills. Wow. All right. I guess that cannon wasn't built low enough. He didn't build that far enough down, but he's going to go and put on some pressure right now. Might lose the... Yeah, he does lose the Corsair. I'm going to go right in here, start to kill some drones, though. And, I mean, 2 Lurker Eggs not really going to help out too much. They're going to force all the drones away. Zealots go into the main base, it looks like. And the Dragoon going to keep hitting drones here in the natural. And I guess eventually he's going to unmake those Hydras from Lurkers and kill that Dragoon. But this is critical damage right now because Effort's already done so much to hurt his own economy by going for this sort of tricky play that it's going to be super hard for him to actually get out of this situation. He's going to surround the Lurker. Effort not paying attention, and he loses one. Not even going to be able to kill that. Oh my god, he's going to lose a second Lurker? No. Not even going to be able to kill the Forgetme.
That's crazy. I mean, oh yeah, you can see the Lurker can only be on the left-hand side there, so he can't shut down mining of too many patches. Just need to clean that out now. Snow is playing out of his mind today, Saiyan. Like, in game number 1, Effort completely outplayed him, but since then, Snow has just been hold my beer mode and going ham. He definitely expected a play like this from Effort with how his scout timings were lined out. Maybe in his preparation matches, guys that have been helping him, and even in his own thought process, he's been thinking very critically about how is Effort going to try and be sneaky in this series against me, and he's kind of figured it out more often than not. And unfortunately for Effort, he's not finding his footing in this series anymore. He is looking to go down 3-1 at this rate. This could be a 4-2 victory for Snow, maybe even a 4-1 at this rate. It's crazy how good Snow is playing.
Ooh, he's going to take a lot of damage on these Zealots. He's desperately trying to save the Forge, but it goes down. Not able to get that upgrade done, and he loses a lot of Zealots there. That was definitely not worth it. Pretty good trade for Effort, but is that enough to come back in a situation like this? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either. It looks like he's going to go maybe a bit of a Mutalisk transition here and hope that there's not enough anti-air defenses back at home. We've got that safety cannon, though, in the mineral line already from the early Zergling and Lurker shenanigans, so already Snow kind of lined up to help deal with this. Let's see if he can get enough Corsairs out in his fleet to start thwarting this. Oh, he catches one of the Corsairs! That's huge. Even though he's dealing with these Lurkers quite well, he has to also deal with these Mutalisks, and losing that Corsair could be critical. If he catches another Corsair with this next pair of Scourge, that could be disastrous for Snow. Needs to be super careful. It's also great that he's got this cannon towards the ramp, kind of providing some zone control and protection to High Templars and other units in transit from his gateways.
Yeah, he's got a ton of cannons here. All were necessary at the time, but they're actually going to give him quite a bit of defenses back at home. Generally, if you're playing against Zerg as Protoss, you're not going to want to make this many cannons because it's going to put you behind in your gateway ads. But now they're just kind of going to give endless benefit here to Snow. He's going to go ahead and grab 3 drones on the gas geyser at that third base. We'll see if Everett even picks up on that. He might not notice and then not mine gas for a long time.
I hope the guys can still hear us.
All right, I can still hear you
guys. I'm just blown away by how well Snow is playing in this series. He's actually targeting down his own citadel to clear up the gas mining for himself right now. A little bit of a weird situation, but he doesn't actually need that citadel anymore, so it's okay to have to kill that for himself.
Xun, can you hear me?
Oh, I thought you were the one lagging.
Okay, but I'm the one streaming, so they could still hear me. For sure. You don't need to talk. It's all good. We're still working on this live streaming thing, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by and joining in the live stream, those of you who are here on Soup Live right now. Scourge gonna fly in here, try to get some connections. Did manage to snipe down the Observer with those Mutas and Scourge, and now he's been driven back here into the natural. Dragoon number is getting kind of pumped up here by Snow, who will be looking to bust out here shortly. He's going to take advantage of that third gas. It's a very critical moment. Oh my gosh, he's going to dive on top of the High Templar. 2 High Templar go down with just a couple of lost Hydras. Effort's actually, he's making this work, man. This is kind of crazy that he's able to recover from this really kind of desperate all-in-ish type of play, like going for early lurkers, trying to hop over and it not working. How is he making this work still?
I don't know. Maybe it was a glitch in the Matrix, and that's why we started lagging, saying, like, Effort is fighting back strong, engaging his alien brain to disrupt the ebb and flow of this game. He's got a massive drop lined up for the main base as well. This could be huge. There's Sim City to block and make it hard for the transit. He's going to dive into the natural with some mutas and force some storms and distract Snow for a few seconds while he loads up these overlords and gets them into the main base. Now the Corsairs are not in position to pounce onto these overlords. overlords that are going to be dropping into the main as well. This could be a critical moment. He's sniping a High Templar in the natural where he does this. Snow has such a hard job of getting in here to defend efficiently of all of his Sim City, blocking the path, slowing down the units from transiting. Can he kill enough critical infrastructure like the Nexus, like the core, to make this worth it? The Templar Archives would be a great pick as well. Even just trading units would be a good win for effort. Seems like he's not trying to pick off any buildings besides doing trades right now, and he has denied mining for Snow temporarily, so he'll be mined out in his natural quicker than his main at this rate, and Snow has no third base. If he contains Snow on these two bases, this could be a win for effort.
He's definitely headed that direction, and Observer goes down. He needs to desperately defend these Observers. Having a hard time coming down his own ramp here. Effort may want to go for another follow-up drop into that main, so he's adding on more cannons. 2 cannons wasn't enough earlier, though, and so the Corsairs have gone back home to make sure that a drop cannot continue. Are we going to see Lurker drops into these mineral lines as well? Yes, here they are. Lurker drops directly into the mineral line, but maybe a little too early. Snow's still on his toes and paying attention to something like this that could be coming in. Here comes a drop into the natural mineral line. Huge storms as all these Hydras run in, but the kills from the Lurkers are insane. So many kills. Nice target fire. They're killing every probe in the mineral line.
Wow, Snow has to go. Snow has to go. He has to attack. There's no way he can allow this to ride. He has to try and punish Ether while he still can. He will otherwise be isolated into his base and mined out. He has to pull the trigger and try and do a massive counterattack before Ether can stabilize. He's going to drop into the main base again, but Snow finds that army and stops it in its tracks from pulling something like that out of the bag. And now he's going to kill a lot of these Hydras in transit as the Corsairs also start to mow down the Overlords in the sky with the neutron flares. Fighting back in a strong way right now is Snow. Supply blocking effort. Maybe there's enough tempo for Snow to go on the counter offensive and stamp out effort before he can get his macro off the ground.
Effort threw away a lot of Hydras trying to dive into that natural while the drop was going on. It was a great distraction, but does he have enough back at home? Some amazing snipes here on the High Templar. He doesn't get that last kill, but he's eliminated so many of the potential storms here. In fact, there's no storm available on this High Templar at the back. Is there enough Dragoons to just shove through? I don't see a round of Zealots making its way forward to support this army, but Dragoons are on top of the hatcheries. This is usually going to be a bad situation for the Zerg player when they start to lose control of their own hatcheries. That production line becomes a battleground. Another drop here into the natural. Are you kidding me? Effort doing this all while being overrun here in his natural. Dragoons are on top of the production. I think Snow has done it despite losing so many probes. He's going to be able to get in here and kill the production of effort.
Absolute nerd chills right now. A massive counterattack from Snow. Exactly what he should do in that situation. Putting himself into a 3-1 match point scenario. Just one more game needs to be won by this Protoss Chad foot clapping gamer to go all the way. I think if he does somehow beat effort here, he's a very strong contender to smack down Barracks in that semifinals as well. We could be seeing Snow as a shoe-in finalist at this rate if he's playing this good. For a second there, I thought effort had clawed his way back from death against Snow and containing him on those two bases. Relentless drops into the main and Lurker drops in the middle line as well would probably crush most Protoss players on the planet, but not Snow. He's not going to be melting under the heat.
Effort is so scary, man. Remember, this was a crazy opener from him. Overpool with gas into a fast layer, or fast speed, then into layer, try to hop over into the main, then go for Lurkers, try to hop over into the main. Like, it's crazy what he was able to do in this game and still make it very, very close. But Snow managed to clutch it out. We're going to go to knockout next, guys. And this series is turning out to be everything I'd hoped for.
Yeah, another round of taking off the headphones to cool down his circuits a little bit for effort. He's going to need to dig deep to win 3 games in a row now. We're on match point, and knockout might be a poetic way of him being knocked out of this tournament at this rate. I still feel like he's capable of coming back 3 games in a row, but Snow just looks so good right now. I'm so impressed by Snow's ability to improve in that versus Zerg matchup. We're going to be jumping right into it, guys. The ASL Season 20 Round of 8 game number 5 between Snow and Effort. And the map, it's Knockout. Let's get it.
Snow. Spawning bottom left. Effort in the bottom right. And guys, this is a great opportunity to let you guys know that we have a Patreon page. It's called Saiyan Shun Duo Casts. We actually don't get paid to do these ASL casts. We don't get money from the views on StarCastTV. The links on the video on YouTube as well. None of them go to us. None of the money from those Patreon pages go to us. If you want to support us as casters, you have to go to patreon.com/Saiyan Shun Duo Cast. SAIYAN Duo Cast. And we'd love to have you guys. Even if you just want to join as a free member, we've also got the spoiler-free schedule there. You guys can go take a look at that. And avoid Liquipedia, because you will end up getting spoiled if you're going over there and you're not coming in for the live cast.
Yeah, if you're not watching this live on superlive.com/SCTVEN, you will be spoiled if you check this out while watching the YouTube premiere or something. So do not do that. And come and support us over on that Patreon page. Our PayPal links are there. We really do appreciate all the love and support. Just one more time, that's Saiyan Shun Duocast, SAYANXUN Duocast. It's honestly been so humbling seeing you guys support us this much, and also even Emmanuel in the crowd with the signs as well. Big love and shout out to you, my guy. Thanks so much, guys.
Absolutely. Now, Effort is gone for a 9 pool. Looking to punish a Nexus first here. Snow, not going to get greedy, though, has thrown down a Forge for himself. So the back-to-back Nexus first play from him, he's switched out of that style. He knows how far that's going to get him, and it's actually pushed Effort to play a lot more aggressive. It's forced him to go for plays like this where he has to, kind of cut into his economy, and that's putting Snow into a great position. This is all going to plan, according to Snow.
And he's slowing down these Zerglings with this scouting probe perfectly. And, I mean, yes, there's some value for Effort forcing 2 cannons out of the Protoss. That's a pretty big deal. It's not too bad here, but with all things considered, this is technically a build order win for Snow. You know, there's no real way these Lings can get in and do a run by and do damage. They're literally relegated to just helping him get a 3rd base unharassed and kill the scouting probe, and maybe slowing down the Protoss a little bit by forcing these 2 cannons. But besides that, Snow going to be enjoying a comfortable position. I like this from Effort, though. He's taken the top right natural as his 3rd, maybe setting himself up for a Turtle Zerg style here, getting a quick 4th base online. A kind of style that Lava used to go for back in the day. It's a very strong way of playing Zerg, but you have to be a macro powerhouse to make it work.
Wow. Really good move here by Effort, putting Ling on that high ground at the 3rd, and just assuming that Snow would come up there eventually to check for an extra base. And he indeed did send the probe that direction. We saw how well and adept Snow was at keeping his early probe alive versus the early Lings, but here he's been shut out of kind of getting any information. He's actually sent a 2nd probe out, and that's actually this is funny, but Effort killing that 1st probe might actually set him up to get completely fully scouted, because he doesn't think there's a probe on the map now.
Well, he's got 2 Lings on the ramp, so he won't be fully scouted at least, but this probe will be able to identify how many drones are being made at the natural and 3rd. He's going to send back those 3 Lings at the front and Maybe keep one Ling for scouting. He's actually sending all 4 back because the Overlord's in position to check for the Zealot move out. He's doing that now. He just now sees the Zealot moving out to the southern hemisphere of the map. So he knows about that Zealot. He did look at that with his screen. He's going to try and intercept this probe. If he gets it, it'd be huge. But he is going for a 973 style at the moment with the fast Hydra Den. So this Zealot scout could be critical in identifying this.
973 with the base over at the top right-hand corner seems a little bit crazy. That's
a little bit different.
Putting your third hatchery as far away from the Protoss as you almost can. Like, if you put it up in the main base over in top right, it would be a little bit farther, I guess. But that kind of slows down the Hydra bus. Now the Zealot comes in here. Can he actually get up the ramp? He is going to just slip through. And that Zealot is completely buttered up, flies right into the main base, and he sees the Hydras popping out here. He knows exactly what's coming, and he's already got 2 cannons done, so he's going to be in a very good position to hold this.
Yeah, he's like the greased up deaf guy from Family Guy right now, just slipping on by, not even attacking anything, just being like, don't mind me, guys. Getting a full scout off in the main base. He saw the Hydra in the natural anyway. Now, I guess this is going to be a fake from effort. I imagine he wanted to kind of obfuscate this by making a more, orthodox style hatchery in the top right to throw off Snow and make him think there's no way this is a fake Hydra bus play. But it is going to be that. I don't think he's going to commit to this. He's definitely going to transition, make drones back at home, just apply a little bit of pressure to Snow. But with this trench here, it's even harder for these Hydra busts to go your way. So I imagine not much is going to come of this.
Yeah, he should be able to hold this off. We're waiting on range right now, which should be coming online here shortly. Drones being made. Snow's seen that. He's made the very base number of cannons you need to hold on is just 4. He's also got the cannon there at the bottom of the forge to protect that from getting killed. So he shouldn't end up losing the forge even. We'll see. He's going to dive on that cannon at the bottom side. He really wants to kill that. If he does, then he can start to kill the forge. But there's only 3 Hydras left, and there's 3 Zealots here, Xun. This is going to be pushed away. Trading all of that for 1 cannon is not going to work out well for effort.
I didn't think he was going to go for it. I genuinely thought he was just going to keep those units there and not try and do anything with them. I'm actually kind of blown away that effort has made the move like that, because it's now put him into an even more awkward position. He can't even save this Overlord now. Like, this is just awkward for effort. I don't like this at all from him. I don't know if he's shaken from how this series has gone or what. Even though I'm a big fan of effort, I'm going to call it how I see it, and I do not like that from effort at all.
This is a painful spot. On match point, no less. Effort going to be fighting from behind. It looks like he's setting up for that Turtle Zerg, sending a drone to take the 4th already. Something you can definitely do when you opt for this style. He's going to be relying on a lot of cannons. A lot of sunken colonies and a very solid defense here with the trench as part of his wall, making sure that anything coming up that ramp and through that trench is going to be missing half of its shots. And Dragoons are some of the slowest attacking units in the game. They shoot very, very slowly. So that 50% miss chance hurts a lot more than even something like Hydras.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal. And he could maybe lay siege to the Zerg anyway. Like, picking off these macro hatcheries would be a big deal for Snow. That's probably what he should align to do. Try and get a fast cybernetics core range upgrade to that singularity charge and lay siege to the Zerg and just try and snipe off these macro hatcheries. Not actually kill the Zerg, but just snipe off these buildings out in front beyond the range of the Sunkens would be ideal. I don't think these Zealots will accomplish too much here with this Sim City. Maybe he can still get something done with them. He's got a lot of Zealots making their way downtown to that 3rd base location in the top right. The eggs are naturally blocking that, though. He's going to have to just dive onto the mineral line. Oh, actually, he's going to get through right as the egg finishes morphing, and he doesn't start an Overlord or something with that lava between the Evo and the lair. So not a bad idea from Snow right now to pounce on this, but the lurkers are finished. He's going to stabilize this location. I don't think this is going to be too successful of an attack. And he lurker egg blocks the ramp from effort. That's genius. Now the Zealots can't get up into that top right pocket to deny this newly established hatchery.
Yeah, that was a really good heads-up play from Effort. It looked a little scary there when the drone finished up at that kind of critical moment, and Zelds were able to slip in on top of the sunken colonies, but this works out well for Effort. He's going to be able to hang in there. He does get supply block, losing an Overlord here at the third. No DT to follow that up, though, so no massive damage going to be received by him here just yet. Lurker trying to come up and maybe deny the space. Double expansion for Snow. I love it. He knows exactly what's happening here, and so he's just going to get into this double expand, and I think we're going to see a massive Dragoon army banging at the front door of Effort here soon.
Yeah, I think so. And he saw the Queen's Nest in the main base, so he knows that this is going to be a macro Turtle Zerg style from Effort. He's just going to be sitting back and relying on this Sim City to do a lot of the heavy lifting with the Sunkens in the wall like that. You'd even sometimes get Spores and a lot of Lurkers to defend those positions even more, but making a high count of Dragoons and going on the offensive or macroing up behind this, the Hydra's not even going to get over there to that 9 o'clock position to scout this at all. And honestly, Snow doing a good job of being a little bit annoying, going around the map, killing some Overlords. He's identifying exactly what Effort wants to do. He's seeing when the rounds of drones are being made, when the tech buildings are being built. So he knows exactly how much greed he can get away with. So this fast fourth base will probably not be punished at all.
Yeah, there's not really any way for Effort to get out on the map right now and deal any damage. He's just, again, building up the sunken colony number and getting Lurkers in position. But Snow is just going to expand out like crazy, and now he can start to hit this hatchery. If he gets the right angle here, I don't think the Lurker can attack. Looks like he's going to abandon that for now. I mean, if he just kills the hatchery at the natural and then rotates and kills the hatchery at the third, that's going to be so much production lost for Effort and a ton of money to remake those hatcheries. That could really slow down Effort and give Snow some time for these extra bases to really come online. Another base in the top left. He's getting so greedy right now, and there's really nothing Effort can do about it.
I mean, it's kind of like a bit of a role reversal, right? Like, it's almost like the Protoss is playing like Zerg and the Zerg is playing like Protoss in how they're strategizing in this game. And the counter to this fast 4-base Turtle Zerg is just going to be a quick 5th base from Snow. But he hasn't been able to snipe those macro hatcheries. A lot of Defiler Mounds now coming down. Wants to very quickly get into Plague right away. Getting Consume and the Plague upgrade at the same time, it looks like. Just to kind of get a bit of a power spike as quickly as possible and not make those upgrades one at a time. He wants to come out onto the map in an explosive way, but will it be too late? Snow being super greedy in this game, but a well-calibrated style of greed that probably will go unpunished, at least for the time being.
I bet Larva is leaning forward in his chair right now. Super curious how this one's going to pan out, because this is really the style that he leaned into the most when he got his ASL title, and I'm sure that he looked at this map when it first came out and said, you know what, this is probably pretty good. My style is probably pretty good for this map. However, Snow is showing how it can be punished by just getting super big, and I mean, he's going to start going into Reavers immediately. I guarantee you that. We're going to be seeing Reavers shuttle speed really fast, and also, of course, Reaver attack as well, which will become extremely hard to fight as the game goes into the late stages.
Yeah, the economy of Snow is just engorged right now. It's crazy. He's even going to throw down some production facilities in that top left, I believe, in the way of a couple of gateways to make it even harder to kill that base later on by being able to make some High Templars up there. Yeah, we're getting a shot of that on screen now. It's going to be super tough to break that base, even when Effort is finally able to come out and explode all over the map. Yeah, he's gonna have that Plague online very soon. He's going to start coming out with lots of cracklings as well to try and trade cost efficiently against Snow. One of the bad things about Effort Sim City is he's going to have to kill one of his own Sunkens to get good unit flow, because the lava is popping out on the left-hand side of that hatchery up there in the natural top right, the hive top right rather. So he'll be blocking his own units every time he macros, so he kind of has to kill, he killed one of his own Sunkens, that makes sense.
Yeah, Snow has just played a good game of... Oh, there's the first Plague. Pretty good Plague on a lot of these Dragoons. He's played a great game of just making it look like he's probably going to attack, but then expanding like crazy behind it. So he's forced effort to build a lot of sunken colonies here, really commit to the defense, at the same time grabbing a bunch of bases around the map. And we are going to have those Reavers out here soon. We may even see some Storm Drops as well. Effort is starting to explode outwards, and he's going to have a lot of these upgrades coming online here shortly, especially that crackling upgrade is going to be really, really important. Drop possibly going into the top left. Is he going to have a drop here?
Maybe.
2 storms plus 3 cannons around the Nexus should be enough to deal with this, and the roaming army is still getting some good value here for Snow. Not a lot found in the way of damage with these small groups of army moving around for effort.
Honestly, really well done from Snow to like keep these High Templars alive from being sniped so easily. Like, there's a lot of Protoss players that just would not give an instruction to those High Templars to get away from the cracklings quickly enough, and he's done that here. He's kept so many of these critical utility units alive against effort. It's going to make it all the more difficult for effort to get out onto the map and pressure these bases. There's a decent plague there, but that's not really a lot for effort. Yes, he's actually exploding in supply, though. You can see effort racing ahead to being maxed out right now, but it's so tricky to utilize a maxed out Zerg army. There's so many control groups worth of units. You have to box select the majority of it, and it's not easy to execute and get your army to do what it wants to do. And it's far easier for the Protoss Death Ball to be effective with fewer commands.
Absolutely. Reaver here in the top left-hand corner. Looks like the observer selected the Reaver and showed whether there was attack or not. Did you see that, Xun? Was there attack upgrade or not? I think it couldn't really be online at this point. A little bit of a counterattack hitting over at this center left as the drop comes in here. Looks like that's not going to be too effective, though. Snow just defending perfectly pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like effort can win this game, but it's going to be so tricky for him to actually bring his forces to bear, as I was just saying. So on paper, even though this looks okay for effort, I actually favor Snow heavily. He's got a split map situation. He's starting to make Reavers as well. It's really tough to crack Protoss once they get half the map and can start making Reavers and Templars at all of their bases. Effort just needs a few good plagues to start trading out in the open of the map and then take the fight to Snow. But even if he is successful in dicing up this army with the plague and cracklings, it's going to be really tough to chew through these Reavers and the High Templars at these expansions with the cannons and the Reaver support. It's going to be a massive hurdle for effort, but that's a beautiful plague to start things off. He has to trade so cost efficiently to make this game work, but it looks like there's a lot of pressure from Snow. He might even crack this mineral-only expansion at this rate.
Yeah, we didn't see a plague on the Reavers here. He went for the plague on the regular army, but getting the plague on the Reavers is really key to breaking a Protoss army like this. Looks like he's going to get some snipes on a few of these observers, and a big counterattack is making its way across the map. That's a lot of cannons here, Xun. I don't see a Defiler with this fight, and Lurkers running up and diving on cannons is just not a good trade ever. This is going to go really bad. Defiler arrives, but it's super late. Effort takes a really bad trade here. He lost that extra base, and he's not going to make any headway at this mineral only.
I mean, he was a little bit too much jumping the gun with this army. Might have been better for him to set up and wait for the Defilers to catch up. Both sides have to contend with that. High Templars trail behind slowly as well, but not the Reavers. You can just grab them in a shuttle and dump them out in the front line. So a bit of an advantage for Protoss in that respect. Easy to set up a strong front line, and counterattacks like this from Zerg can just get gobbled up if you're not paying enough attention. And this is really hyper efficient from Snow right now. Effort kind of petering out a little bit. Now at only 150 supply, not near the maxed point that he was a moment ago. He is starting to expand in the northern hemisphere. He's got that mineral only still. Now taking the 12 o'clock as well. Looking to attack and defend simultaneously, but trying to hit this mineral only of Snows.
Yeah, this is a bit of a win here for Snow, but effort needs more bases. He needs to get these bases online now. There's going to be a huge bank for Snow here soon. Oh, great plague there. Getting the plague on top of the Reavers. That's the most important part of defending against an army like this. Base at the 12 o'clock looks like it's going to be denied. Effort needs another gas. I mean, he takes the base over like the mineral onlys. He's going to get both mineral onlys, but he needs a gas so badly. And he's going to look for possibly bottom center while he pushes over to this mineral only. But again, great defense here from Snow. Couple more High Templars, couple more Storms here, plus the Archon. Should be able to hold on against this with rallies coming out as well.
Wow, this is really well played from both players, but it seems like Snow is just in a little bit more of a commanding position. Effort so close to breaking through this defensive line, but the reinforcements for Snow will show up in time to save the day. And this mining base is undeterred. Effort taking that base at the 3 o'clock to critically get another gas online as soon as possible. He's going to be depleted in 2 of those gas geysers now. He is not mining much gas at all, so he needs to compensate. Nice snipe on this Reaver here at the mineral only top left pocket. But this is not good enough for Effort to stabilize this position. He's still fighting from behind at the moment. And if Snow can keep up these trades in this fashion, there is not much hope for Effort to come back in fighting strong. And all the lurkers are clumped up right now. They're going to be easier to storm and gobble up by his death ball of an army right now. And he's even killed the mineral only already. Snow is playing out of his mind here today, Sam.
Yeah, this is all good, getting this kill over here on the mineral only, but again, the problem still stands. Effort not able to get another base online. Oh, diving on these cannons right now is huge. There's no High Templars here. Lynx can rip this apart so quickly. Just a small mistake, it seems, from Snow has allowed him to get a bit of momentum back, allowed Effort to get a bit of momentum back, but here comes more Reavers. Reavers definitely going to be the key to shutting this down right now. Can he get a kill on one of those before they all die? No, not quite. Snow can remake these cannons here and continue to put on pressure with the Deathball army. Center right has been taken for Effort, but that's still on his side of the map, and that's only going to even out the bases.
Yeah, this is going to be crazy because there is a way of Effort winning this by just outmaneuvering Snow. He's going to try and pressure this base, kills both of the High Templars, and has some Dark Swarm support as well to thin out the attack damage of that Archon, reducing it to splash only. And he might be able to take this base now after clearing out those cannons. But another counterattack from Snow, looking to take down 3 o'clock. That's a critical mining base. And the middle only for Effort as well, in the bottom being taken out. This is a crazy turning point in this game. If Snow's able to knock out both of these bases and play whack-a-mole with Effort, Effort's going to be in a world of trouble. But equally, if Effort can somehow keep killing the army of Snow and then counterattacking these mining expansions, there is a way for Effort to win this game still.
Looks like he might be able to get this Nexus. It's taking a lot of damage here from these Lings, but it seems like possibly Snow can... Okay, another round of units making its way forward. Looks like that Nexus goes down. I doubt that Effort will be able to get up this ramp, though. There's a lot of cannons here. 2 Reavers already in position. Reaver Scarab's bugging out a bit. He does get this... He gets the shuttle. I mean, one thing you gotta say for Effort, he's amazing at keeping these Scourge active. He's been sniping observers non-stop the entire game. Every time you see an engagement happen, Effort has Scourge there, and he's ready to snipe those observers. It's been holding back Snow and keeping Effort in this game. But Snow is pulling further and further ahead as time goes on. Just needs to keep this base at 12 o'clock alive. Effort, that is his... golden goose right now. He's got to keep that alive.
I mean, it's crazy because he has got, yeah, like you say, this base up here is critical. He needs that gas online critically. Snow, if he can't get any more additional bases and Effort can start to secure more of these bases, he's going to take the 3 o'clock now yet again. So like I say, there's a chance that Effort can outmaneuver Snow in this game. The Zerg army is more mobile. That's a monstrous plague. He just needs to start trading cost efficiently against Snow. He's shutting down Snow from getting another base set up at the 6 o'clock position. Another beautiful plague out from Effort. It's really tough to trade cost efficiently with the Protoss in this situation, but he's doing a pretty good job of it, honestly. This isn't too bad at all. He's going to technically lose this fight, but he has done a lot of damage to the standing army of Snow. The problem is he needs to keep his macro cycling on all cylinders, and he hasn't really got the income to do that. He's almost starting to mine out too much on these bases. Luckily, he's got this 3 o'clock coming back online, as well as securing this 12. So there is a hope here for Effort, but he's going to have to play amazingly well.
Well, those were some absolutely monstrous plagues there. Just getting all of these Zealots into the red HP. So many of them are going to die incredibly quickly in this next upcoming fight. Hydra's fighting here from low ground. Storm's going to be going down on a lot of this stuff. Another big Plague goes down as well. Dark Swarm here over on that right-hand side. Is there actually a Lurker? Yes, there is. Observer? Yes, as well. Yeah. Observer here for Snow means he could possibly push through and actually take out this gas critically, shut down this base. More Hydras coming forward here. Lurker going to run away. He's going to go after the drones. Gets a big shot there. Base comes up over at the center right, but this one at the top center going to be shut down.
Wow, just going on a counter-attack, allowing the 12 o'clock to die. He wants to take out that Nexus that's just been re-established. Beautiful storms on the pack of Hydras to the southern threshold of that engagement, though. Snow is coming ahead of these trades. He's creating a larger deficit for effort to have to overcome. He did transfer the majority of those drones at 12 to the 3 o'clock, but he's still fighting from behind right now against Snow. He has to keep taking mining bases and locking Snow on this side of the map on the left. If Snow gets just one more mining base online, it's going to be all over for effort. There's still a tiny glimmer of hope for our Zerg, but it's starting to fade.
Yeah, this push over here is going to be combined with a push through the middle of the map at the same time. There's a bunch of units moving through there. A lot of great storms have come down on this army, and that's a great storm as well, hitting a bunch of Lurkers here on the high ground. He goes after the Reavers, but it gets picked up. Hot pick up there. Keeps that last Reaver alive for now. It's very low with the Plague and all of the damage that's been done. He picks up the shuttle. Does he actually get out of there? No. Not able to get the shuttle out of that position, but the Zealot rally is actually going to overcome this spot. Hydra's in retreat. Zealot's getting on top of everything, and the Archons are going to be able to clutch this out, it seems. This base is going to go down, and Effort has lost everything trying to defend.
He lost so many of the drones as well. He didn't even get to evacuate the majority of those. He's taking the mineral only on his side of the map down at the south, but losing the drones is so painful. Not only minerals is a resource, but also your lava. You cannot afford to keep going back and forth between making drones and lava when you're having to fire on all cylinders just to keep up with the Protoss right now. So he's not going to be able to replenish those drones. Just going to be cycling out more and more Zerglings to go on the counter-offensive, try and limit the expansion options from Snow. So he has to knock out this natural in the top left, and he has to stop Snow from taking any more additional bases.
Diving on top of these cannons over at top left, but look at this micro from Snow, just pulling back, letting all the Hydras and Lings filter in through the cannons and targeting down the most important units as they try to run forward. He is getting better and better trades here, now over 100 supply ahead. This game is a foregone conclusion now. We're just waiting for the tap out here, and there it is, GG! Snow advances to the round of 4.
Seriously sick from Snow. Effort looks so dangerous in game number 1. He completely outplayed Snow, but ever since then, Snow was in the driver's seat. Even that game on Litmus where it looked like Effort had clawed his way back from the dead and had him contained, he still managed to find a great counterattack timing. Effort's going to have to go back to the lab. I just want to say that Effort has only just recently come back to the scene, so it's kind of insane he's been able to get to this stage of the tournament anyway. I'm sure that we'll be seeing many great things from Effort in the future seasons of the ASL. Don't sleep on that guy. He's probably going to establish dominance and find another star in his chest before long. But for the time being, the man of the hour is Snow. He's the guy eyeing up that coveted prize. He's going to be facing off against Barracks in the semifinals. He's completely tipped Barracks upside down and shaken him like a bully to get his lunch money before. He's likely to do it again and secure a final spot for himself to finally get not only a Protoss championship, but a championship for himself at long last.
We were wondering if it was Effort clearing the way for Snow to get his championship. That may be the case now. Effort not able to stand in his way. Snow advances here 4-1, but it was still a very hotly contested series. I'm
Yeah.
still shocked that it didn't go all the way to game 4, though. Effort was playing very, very well, and he almost won this game as well. The way that he was playing here, really holding on against Snow and getting some of these counterattacks in. There was just a few moments where he wasn't able to kill the Reavers, wasn't able to get Plague on the Reavers, that Snow was able to just keep juggling and getting more damage. I mean, his Reaver control is something special, man. And I think that Effort going for this strategy where he just turtles up on 4 bases, it actually allows Snow to really lean into his strength.
Right, and you allow the Protoss to skip over the mid to late game transition and go into the super late game. The reality is that yes, the late game usually favors Zerg, but the super late game starts to even out in a big way. Once you split the map, once you get lots of Reavers out, and Snow showed why that was such a potent position in the game to establish. Not really much ability for Effort to come back in that game once he got there. He shot up into 5 bases versus Effort's 4 base Turtle Zerg and just never allowed Effort any oxygen in that game, despite the great plagues and the ideas of counterattacks. Wasn't able to clutch out a victory at long last. And Snow looks so good, man. Like, one of the biggest weakness was his Protoss versus Zerg, and he seems to have plugged a lot of the gaps in his play in recent times and is looking like an all-around beast now.
I got to go back to what I said before, Shun. Like, all that experience playing against a tricky Zerg player like Solkey,
Yeah.
dropping down to whatever 30% win rate versus Zerg, all of it was worth it. It was just experience for this guy. And now he is an absolute titan in the scene. He is so hard to trick. He is so hard to fool. He's very good at figuring out what the Zerg is up to and countering it excellently. I mean, that game on Litmus, let's go back to that one, Shun. I mean, that was
Right.
a super tricky play from Effort, and I was really impressed how he was able to transition even out of that kind of wacky lurker
Yeah.
attack, plus, Ling speed over the wall, plus lurker over the wall, like, and then change that into a macro game behind it. That's super impressive. But I think it's just incredible that Snow was able to pick up on it and figure it out and undo that build, kind of pull it apart and make it look so weak. Like, he wasn't really able to do anything with those early attacks at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big mistake there from Effort was really tunnel visioning in on dropping the main base with lots of Hydras in that game on Litmus. I feel like if he had solidified his contain more and slowed Snow down and not allow him to go for a big counterattack knockout punch the way he did, that could have looked like a lot different game and a more successful transition. Basically, Snow that won that game based on tempo alone would have been better off if he did like more mid-range drop harass and a few lurker drops here and there, but not committing that many Hydras to a drop that doesn't even kill the Nexus, for example. I feel like a bit of a gambit that went awry for Effort. It has been known that Zerg has the weakest drop tech out of all the 3 races, especially when it comes to Doom drops like that, and definitely didn't get the value that it needed and set Snow up to get that win condition with a quick tempo counterattack. And unfortunately, like I said, if whoever wins that game on Litmus has probably taken the whole series, and Snow clutches it out in style.
Yeah, those are really fun last game, guys. But unfortunately, that is all for today. Knockout was a blast. I'm so glad that we saw at least one of these Zergs attempt that sort of turtle Zerg style,
Yeah.
by taking the third base up at the natural. And the moment that I saw that map come out, I was like, okay, Larva's gonna have a field day, or like some Zergs are gonna have a field day, building into 4 base and just going straight to Hive, like we saw in the past with maps where you had the high ground natural and the ramp right in front of your natural. Remember, I can't even remember the name of those older maps, but there was a few of those maps in the season where Larva won, and he was able to really take advantage of that. I was looking at the kind of ditch in front of the natural in Knockout and thinking, this is an epic opportunity to bring that style back.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Effort got a bit unlucky in this series. He picked the wrong time to start being aggressive. I feel like if he had set the tempo in like game 2 and 3 with an earlier pull, just to make Snow scared about going for a Nexus first, the series could whole looked a whole lot different. I feel like being reactive and allowing a few Nexus first to go under the radar and then pull out the aggressive pulls was the mistake, because the further Snow gets ahead in the series, the less likely he is to 12 Nexus for a start. And we talked about it before. If you go for a fast pull and your opponent switches into a more orthodox style of play, you're in trouble. And that's exactly what happened here today.
It's a great poker play from Snow, realizing that he could get away with that, or just throwing it at the wall on some of these maps that maybe he wasn't as confident in. For example, Metropolis, thinking like, you know what, I'll just try it. We'll see if we can get away with the Nexus first here. And then going for it again right after is pretty crazy, but it ends up working out in his favor. I'm so happy that Snow's managed to make it through, man. I'm just ecstatic. This
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
has been a favorite of mine for a really long time. I've got a cheerful from when I went to the ASL with his name signed on it. And you guys can get something like that too if you manage to get down to the ASL in person. Definitely make it some point, at some point, guys, sooner rather than later, because the StarCraft has never been hotter. It's never been more fun. Get down to the studio. You can get yourself a cheerful, make a really fun one, and then at the end of the show, everybody lines up and you can get signatures from the players. It's an awesome event. You guys should definitely get there and check it out.
Yeah, and if you want to follow in Emmanuel's footsteps as well and throw our names on there, that'd be greatly appreciated. Big shout out to that French guy yet again. We really appreciate all the love and support you guys have shown us, regardless of that's in the YouTube comments, the live chat, the Patreon page, whatever it is. We just really appreciate you guys showing some love and support for what we do. We look to do it for many years to come. What a great series we've had today. We'll be joining you again next Monday. It's going to be Soma versus Best next. That's going to be insane. I love pretty much every single player that's in this round of 8. It's so hard for me to pick who I want to win. Like today, I was rooting for Effort, but I was just as happy if Snow would advance as well. So pretty much no matter what happens, I'm going to be a happy camper. As far as Soma and Best is concerned, I want Best to win, but I have a feeling Soma's going to give him a hard time. And I'm a little bit worried for Best. I really would love to see Best advance, but not so sure that will happen. What's your prediction for that match there?
I'm gonna be predicting Best to get through. Um, I think a
Okay.
lot of people are probably gonna be mad about that, but I said it in my predictions video. We saw Soma get rushed down by Stork in the KCM, and it was not exactly a rush. Sorry, it was a 3 base timing, and Soma had all the tools necessary to defend it, and he was still kind of bowled over by that play. And I thought, you know what? Best is better than anybody else in the world at doing a play like that. I don't know if Soma's ready to take him on in a long series. Like he is going to smash with that 2 base and 3 base timing. Like he is just so good at hitting those macro cycles. His mechanics are on point, and you have to be absolutely on point if you want to stop it.
Oh, you're not wrong at all, saying. But guys, that's going to be all from us from this week. What a great set of games we've had. Barracks and Snow going to be advancing to the semi-finals to face off against one another. We'll be back here on Monday, 7 p.m. Korean Standard Time over at superlive.com/SCTVEN. It's going to be Soma versus Best. And then on Tuesday, Bisu versus Lava. Great best of 7 still to come. Don't miss it.
Absolutely, don't miss it, guys. And one thing before we go, the KCM is in the semifinals here this week. It's Terran versus Protoss, so go check it out. Saiyan KCM is my YouTube channel, and Shun and I will be casting that as well. So definitely
Yeah.
don't miss out on that cast, guys. We'll see you next week for more ASL.
Thanks, guys.